Hello and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 23rd of March 2014. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
Yeah.
And Zachary Burgess.
He's nearly developed the power of speech over these last 3 weeks.
That was a word.
I've been trying to sort of theme them with how I say the element, but...
How you say the element is always just like...
Nickel.
Yeah.
Was it nickel?
It was nickel.
Because he said it so fast. It was like, nickel.
Nickel.
Nickel. Nickel? Papa?
Nickel.
Oh dear.
Nickel. Polonium.
Polonium?
Don't waste them.
I don't think
Wait, is polonium actually even an element?
Yes?
Are you sure about that?
No.
Yes. Surely it is. What else could it be? And like an isotope or something of another element? No.
It's about as real as any
No, because it's polonium
Oh, it is.
210, isn't it? So 210 is the isotope, isn't it? The one that they used to poison
Yes.
that Russian guy in the sushi bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of... Because it's like plutonium, only it's not. That's why it sounded weird, because it's very similar.
Unobtainium.
We're wasting all this stuff. Let's not talk about the
Unobtainium?
periodic table.
You can't start a podcast with unobtainium.
But it's in Avatar.
It's also in like the core and a bunch of other shit.
Is it in the core?
That's what the dumb vehicle is made out of, coincidentally. Where it's just like I just happened to be building this ridiculous drill out of unobtainium, and now you need it. Oh, how convenient!
Unobtainium has been a sci-fi cliche for years, though. That's just been the name for whatever the stuff is. Like in,
I didn't realize that was a common thing.
yeah, well, it's obviously it was kind of a joke originally, but there were various things that you could label as unobtainium, like the stuff in Ringworld that they. Because Larry Niven wrote Ringworld, right, which was a ring that, like Halo, but it goes around the whole sun. So it's a lot bigger than Halo.
Yes.
But somebody in the physics department at MIT was like, this doesn't actually work because you need a material that was stronger than exists. And so the next book, he was like, we've got this material. It's called Skrith. And it's super strong. And so that's how it works. So yes, that was the original unobtainium, I believe, and then various other sci-fi authors had impossible materials which fall under the same banner. And then I guess Avatar was like, "I'll just call it the dumb name that everyone uses for these things."
Oh, I thought you meant it was actually called unobtainium in other things.
I think it might
just
be.
being the trope name.
Well, I think it has been before.
Yeah, because
Obviously the core comes before the Avatar, but I don't think. I'm pretty sure they probably were basing it off the core.
If anything bases anything off the core, they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, really.
Oh god, how long until
so bad.
Because there must be Avatar sequels coming, like right?
Yeah, there is.
That film made more money
And
than anything ever, right?
What are you going to do? There's no
I don't know.
sequel. It's just like what bullshit excuses
gonna
they
be
come up with for a story.
Well, half the film relies on the sort of wonder of the imagery and like, oh wow, blue people, and oh, this is a pretty planet when you're not trying to be murdered.
Yeah.
It's going to be
So then
disastrous.
what are they going to do? It's just like
I don't know.
just a sightseeing video.
It'd be unlike Cameron. I don't know. Is it unlike Cameron to make a bad sequel? I can't think of a sequel he's made.
Well, he makes sequels, but to films that were made. Like, didn't he do? Well, he did Terminator 2, right? Right.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's like the best action film I've ever seen. I think probably.
Okay, so he has made good sequels in the past, so maybe we shouldn't rule him out just
And
yet.
that's right. And he made the sequel to Alien, even though he didn't make the original, right? So is that right? He made Aliens, right? Is that him, Cameron?
I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And that was good.
Now I'm
So
just
maybe
pulling up his
he's arguably
filmography.
better. He's arguably better at sequels than he is at.
Yeah, he did do. No, he was the first Terminator. Oh, and T2, right?
Yeah, I think he did both. But he was only the second Alien
Hmm.
and
film.
Terminator 3. So
And Rambo 2. Oh no, wait, Rambo First Blood Part 2. Is that what? That's.
we did.
Is that just 2? Is that actually just Rambo 2, or is that actually a weird?
Don't know actually, because Rambo has I think Rambo has a bit of a weird chronology in its naming.
Piranha Part 2. Clearly great.
Wait, so they've planned another 3 Avatar films?
Jesus Christ.
Are they going to release
and
them
it's
in
one a year as well?
Yeah, one a year. Oh, God.
Starting next year.
Oh, no. Oh.
Wait, not next year, 2 years from now. So we've got a while.
We've got a reprieve.
You've got a while to, prepare yourself.
It's taking them 7 years to make the sequel, and then 1 year for each of the sequels of the sequel.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good. Or likely.
And another Terminator film, apparently.
Really? Well, what was the last one? Wasn't that okay? I can't remember. Oh, no. What's going on with Terminator? I can't remember.
They finished it, really, didn't they?
They made that terrible one with...
They did the ending. Oh, well, not really, I guess. They didn't really destroy everything. They only got one bit of Skynet or whatever.
He wasn't involved in that last Terminator film, though. The one with Batman in it.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That was... I watched that. I don't know if I watched it with riff tracks or something, but it was really boring. And rubbish.
Well, I remember people saying to me that had gone to see it that the action was quite well done, but that there really wasn't much plot. Then again, it's a Terminator film. Is there really much plot in the grand scheme of a Terminator film?
Terminator 2 is quite tightly plotted. I mean, there's not lots. It's a big chase sequence, really. But, I mean, there's a lot going on with the... there's exposition where he has to explain about Judgment Day and all of that stuff. And
yeah, but then they tried to do a film of him that actually showed all that.
That was a bad idea. Yeah, that was a really bad idea.
Because it's not actually a very cool feature or anything. It's just shitty resistance soldiers that can't actually fight any of the ridiculous robots. So it's all about sneaking into a facility and stuff. It's just not a cool feature to look at. It's just a horrible blasted wasteland most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
From what I remember, it was quite brown looking.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Next gen filter.
It's like the Matrix. It's like when you actually see the bits that aren't in the Matrix. It's this is not actually very cool to look at because you can't really see fuck all.
It's all very dark. Well, it's very dark underground.
Well, no, I meant the above ground bits as well because of the sky.
Yeah, because they burnt the sky.
So, Avatar.
Burnt the sky.
At least there haven't been hordes of freaking Avatar computer games.
Well,
there was one.
You only do one per film.
Yeah.
So there's going to be only 3 more, presumably.
I didn't even remember. Was it really bad?
There was one. It was painfully average.
Yep, naturally.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it was. It didn't ever get a particularly bad rap, but it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't stand out in any way. It was a movie game.
I was trying to remember if it was one of those games that people played for the achievements, but I think I'm thinking of King Kong, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I bet the
early
achievements weren't that hard in the Avatar one either.
I can't remember anything about it.
It's probably a good thing.
He played as the blue guy most of the time.
Well, naturally.
If not all the time.
Jake Sully.
Yeah. I do really like that film, though.
Really?
Yeah. It's I find myself drawn into it whenever it's all on a screen.
Wow, that's the high praise. If there's a thing in front of me and I'm not doing anything else, I'll watch it.
Well, yeah, I haven't really, other than watching, because the problem is with Avatar is that it doesn't quite, because I've watched it in how it's supposed to be in cinema 3D and stuff. Watching it anywhere else kind of doesn't feel the same. It doesn't quite have that same. It's still a very good looking film, and I think it's a very entertaining film, but it's got mechs in it. But
I just always think of the hilarious, because the baddie is so unsubtle, the military dude who's with the crew cut and everything, and he's literally and they're blowing the shit out of the beautiful tree or whatever it is, and he's literally standing there with his 3D coffee, drinking his 3D coffee and going blow the fuck out of them. It's just really dumb. I don't know. There's not much subtlety about that. Not that there needs to be subtle. I mean, it's not like Darth Vader is subtle, but he's a bit more memorable than generic military dude who wants to kill the Native Americans.
then again, you've got Phoebe's brother playing, whoever wants the shit done. They're like the real bad guy, I suppose. Military guy's just doing what he's told.
True.
Yes, but he's doing it in a generically evil kind of way.
Yeah, he is.
He's not just following orders. He's just like, grr. in that generically evil military.
Yeah, like he enjoys doing shit that he knows to be bad a bit too much.
Yeah,
even if he's been told to do it.
No regret. Anyway,
why are all lackeys in second in commands in films are a bit like that, aren't they? It's like, kill this guy with pleasure.
Because normally the second...
I enjoy being...
Because in a lot of cases, the second in command guy is the actual evil guy, and he's like been manipulating the actual leader all along. It's the classic cliche.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where's that happen?
It's not that common.
It's the old Grand Vizier cliche. The Grand Vizier is always...
Oh, yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, in certain ones, you've got an obviously sinister-looking advisor.
Yeah.
Not the lackey, but the advisor.
Well, it's the same difference.
Yeah.
The second in command to the actual dude.
But the second command in these films is often the one that's like out being the badass for the mastermind.
Like Darth Vader, he's the lackey, isn't he?
Technically, yeah.
And he eventually kills the big bad guy, so... Eventually.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah. It's always Willem Dafoe in the end. He's the guy behind all the bad guys. It's actually the Green Goblin, after all. Oh, man. Are they putting the Green Goblin into the next...
No,
Spider-Man.
They're not doing that yet.
Who is it this time?
Electro or something? I don't actually know his name, but
yeah, it is.
Is it Electro?
It is. I think it's Electro. Yeah, I think that is correct.
I still don't like the new films. Everyone
it's
says
only
I'm
been
wrong,
one.
but I just yeah, whatever. But
it was fine. It wasn't. I don't know. I thought that Spider-Man 3 was lame anyway. So
yeah, true.
Spider-Man 2 was awesome. Pretty awesome.
Spider-Man 3 had its very funny moments, though.
I guess. Yeah, the new ones they're a little bit too like.
I don't like what they've done. Like, I don't like Peter Parker as a believable person. If you see what I mean. Like, I don't like the idea that he's this outcast, edgy skater kid who's also a ridiculous scientist. It's like, I don't think they needed the skater kid part. That's the unbelievable bit for me. It's like, no, he'd be quite popular, I'm sure. In some way, he doesn't have the mannerisms of an antisocial person. He doesn't have
it doesn't fit because
he isn't an outcast.
Like if you look like that and you were like a skater kid or whatever, I don't think you would be outcast.
You'd be like, dude,
because that's obviously what that means.
I quite like
the skater gang he may be part of that we don't see is called the Outcasts. Word. I don't know. I don't like his characterization. I think when they get past that, the way they portray him is fine. But then the rest of the film is let down by having the shittest of bad guys.
Yeah, I had that really.
It's just the actual plot is terrible.
Yeah,
I just didn't get on with it at all. And it's like, no, it's really good. It's better than the Sam Raimi ones. And I'm like, fuck off. They were fun.
Spider-Man 2 was really funny. I thought anyway, and it had a really good, good bad guy as well in Doc Ock.
I thought all of them were pretty funny, in fairness, and quite well made. Even though they apparently ran out of budget on the first one, hence why Green Goblin looked a bit cheap.
Right, fair enough. Well, that was kind of the first of these superhero films, right? That have taken over the world.
Pretty early, yeah.
Yeah. First of the new wave of comic book films.
Well, yeah, things like Daredevil and stuff actually predate it, I think.
But I don't think they were quite as successful as Spider-Man. Kind of kicked off the whole crazy thing of money-making machine of comic book films. Where previously you did have comic book films. You had Batman films and Superman films, but it wasn't like this massive thing where you have to make everything and then have them team up and shit.
Yes, but then again, you can't hold Spider-Man as part of that because of Sony. It may have started it off, but they can't do the team up thing.
That's true. They can't have Spider-Man in the Avengers. Yeah.
Although I did hear that, like, apparently Sony and Marvel were trying to come, or Disney or whatever, were trying to come to some agreement to get Spider-Man into the Avengers.
Right.
Presumably for lots of money.
Yes. Because he is in the Avengers, right? Spider-Man, I assume.
Yeah,
he
I
must
think so. Yeah.
Well, they should do the Justice League. That would be hilarious. With like,
presumably that's where the like Batman versus Superman thing is sort of headed.
That's true. Yeah.
You
what
know,
about the Wonder Twins?
They've announced that it's the end.
The end of this movie section of this podcast.
Yeah, right.
It's the movie section. And now time for the computer game
I did
section.
see the new Terry Gilliam film.
Oh, yeah?
Zero Theorem.
Oh, yeah?
Don't see it.
Really?
I've seen the adverts for it, and I was like,
it's just... See, the trailer makes it look like it could be a pretty interesting and quirky film. Like some of Terry Gilliam's stuff is. Like the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is weird, but kind of fun to watch. 12 Monkeys is a fantastic film.
12 Monkeys is awesome. Brazil is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, Brazil's kind of cool, but it's weird enough. This is like the bad bits of Brazil all the way through. Like just nonsensical plot doesn't make any sense at any point. And you're just kind of left. It's not actually very funny or particularly interesting after a while. It's just, and it's a shame because it's actually all the performances are pretty good. Like it's got, is it Christoph Waltz? Is that his name?
Yeah, the guy from all the Tarantino films.
Yes, who's awesome. He plays the lead, and he's pretty good at it. But it's just there's nothing to act in a way. Yeah. Don't go see it. Anyway, I'm done.
Okay, good.
News time.
News.
What's going on in the world of video games?
Mike Whitten left Microsoft.
Oh, yeah?
He was like one of the sort of smiley faces who would often get on stage to talk about the techie side of Xbox. Or the slightly techier side of Xbox. I think he's the guy that was like, hey, Xbox Live runs on this many servers now.
Wow. So servers.
Very compute.
Many clouds.
But he's been there since the start. So it's like Jack Tretton, I suppose. It's another high-profile departure from the video game overlords.
The overlords.
The overlords of gaming. Microsoft and Sony kind of are.
Sure, fair enough. Interesting. Okay, I don't know what that means for gaming or for Xbox or for anything really, other than he won't be on stage again, at least on the Microsoft stage. Probably be on some other stage.
I forget who he went to. That was announced as well. I think where he was going, but I can't remember. Wasn't very interesting.
News.
So GDC happened.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it was a very interesting GDC this year.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what because the deal with the GDC is like sometimes
it's not really for us.
No, it's not for journos and it's not for us. It's for devs, and which is cool. And it's cool when they do like postmortems and stuff. But like sometimes there is news from GDC, and it's kind of weird.
Sometimes there's some super awesome tech demos and things like that. Like even I forget if it was last year or the year before, we had the Quantic Dream awesome tech demo, with the robot lady, which was pretty cool. I really liked that. That was like, oh man, if you can pull this off on a PS3, which they sort of can in Beyond, it's well done. Well done. Whereas this time, I suppose we got better. Yeah. Well, I haven't actually been playing any more of that, so we don't know. Excuse me. But I guess the DX12 news kind of counts. They've been showing Forza running on a PC with DX12.
It's
and
kind of
have had to caveat that as, look, we're just doing this as a tech demo. We're not releasing Forza on PC, and everyone's like, you bastards.
But it's kind of like they're doing a similar thing with DX12 as AMD are doing with Mantle, right? So it's like, oh, we're doing it too. the equivalent kind of performance gains from the same kind of approach. That's what I took from it. So it's like, well, okay, so there's no real advantage to Mantle anymore because the new DirectX will be.
Apparently, it's all coming to Xbox One. Apparently, because it's no secret anymore that Xbox One, in theory, but I say in theory, ignore that bit. Xbox One launched earlier than it should have. Even by Microsoft's page, like the current thinking is that they saw Sony's announcement about when it was coming out and were like, "Fuck, we've got to do that too."
Oh right, okay.
Or they knew about it somehow, and so everyone planned. And so the Xbox One technically isn't ready and still isn't ready by their original plan, which explains a lot because DX12 was supposed to go into it,
right?
And it will still go into it. So, but there's a question as like whether that will affect like games that have already been made. Like, will the DX12 update to the Xbone make Titanfall run better, or will existing games will probably have to patch in a DX12 mode, but how difficult is that to do?
It depends how different the API is, I guess. But I mean, maybe you can just
pull up a switch,
maybe you'll just get some. Yeah.
Oh, but
exactly.
I suppose the compilation is the problem. But I don't know how that works. Like, some games give you like, oh, you can render in DX9 or DX11 or whatever. But then some games have, but we've got an OpenGL renderer as well. Like, how difficult is that to patch in? I don't know. But
still, good news.
Yeah.
For everyone, probably.
It means there could be, like, if people have been slightly put off by Xbone's graphical performance, maybe this will bring it up to par with PS4. Maybe,
Possibly. You've still got the issue that PS4 is technically slightly more powerful in terms of the silicon, right? So
sure, but it should only be slight, and this is the thing. And thus far, it hasn't really seemed to be slight.
That's true.
Maybe DX11 is the problem. It's hard to tell.
Could be.
Hard to know. One can hope.
Cool.
I was thinking about that the other day. I still think I made the right call buying an Xbone over a PS4. Because there's just not been anything I'm interested in PS4. Like, the only thing that's sort of come out is like that new Infamous game, which I think is getting pretty good reception. But I wasn't overly taken by the first Infamous game. But then again, that was an early PS3 game.
Whereas on Xbone, you've got Titanfall, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
Titanfall, Forza's been good.
And
Plants vs. Zombies is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Killer Instinct's been good.
I guess the caveat to that is that, like, arguably, all the third-party stuff seems to be running a bit better on the PS4. So if you care about that, then...
Yeah, if you care about Black Flag, fine. Yeah. I don't think there's much else of a reason other than Black Flag.
Man, I want to play that. I'm going to get that on PC at some point once I get a graphics card going. But and I'm kind of interested in the Metal Gear game, but I mean, that's super short, right? The new one.
Yeah, apparently you can mainline it in somewhere between 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, and you can play that on Xbox, right? So
Yeah.
But it just doesn't...
Kojima released that interesting thing, didn't he, where they didn't put out a flashy trailer this time. They just did that. They put out a graphics comparison. Like, here's what all the 4 versions look like.
Cool.
Which is interesting, and highlighting why they are different and why the PS4 version is the one to get, that kind of stuff. And it was just interesting them being the developer, like, being upfront about it, sort of like, look, this is the one we think is the best version. Because that stuff doesn't normally happen, does it? It's not like you see EA coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, you want to get this one."
Well, it's just because no one paid them. Now that it's no longer PlayStation exclusive, they're just like, no loyalties. We'll just say the actual truth.
No, but
no one's paying us to keep quiet.
But do you think they're going to say when the 360 version of Titanfall finally comes out that it's fine, all the versions are the same? Yeah,
probably.
They don't sort of say no. Although we've made a 360 version, you really want the Xbone one. They sort of do that by not being explicit.
Well, I doubt they're going to say anything about it. They're probably just going to release it.
Yeah, exactly. But I just,
that's what Microsoft paid for. They don't want them to say anything. It's just like, we'd like this to sell on both versions as much as possible.
Yeah. I just find it interesting that, it is interesting that Kojima came out and did that. It's just unheard of, really. Although I'm singling out Kojima here, that might not have been his decision, but,
Well,
he pretty much runs the show, though, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think is he head of Konami now, or is he pretty high? He must be pretty high up. But yeah, people said it's pretty great, and there's about as much, if not more, side content if you want to break out. If the main line doesn't grab you, there's quite a lot of other like stealth challenges and stuff to do on the more sandboxy environment.
I like the idea of it. The like one base game, as long as it's not full price, which it isn't.
No, and they did reduce what they said they were going to price it as, at least in American markets, like at the 11th hour before it came out. It's like, actually, we are going to make it so the next gen version isn't actually that much more expensive.
That's cool. You don't want to be, after you spent all that money on a console, you don't want to be paying over the odds for short games.
No. But it does, I think it's enough to get people perhaps excited about what we can expect from Metal Gear 5 when that
exactly.
comes out.
It's interesting to see.
End of next year, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, is this the gameplay? Like, is this how it's going to play?
I would imagine they're using it sort of as a test case, as in this is the best they've come up with thus far.
That's cool.
And that maybe they've made this, as a sort of very large beta. They want money for.
I guess that makes sense. It's kind of like I was saying on Giant Bomb, it's kind of like the Gran Turismo prologue sort of situation.
Yeah. See, I've never understood the prologue thing either, but,
it's weird.
Yeah. I think it made sense maybe if it was the first version on a console, on a new console maybe for prologue, for people who are like, I really just want to see what it's like on PS3 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the situation here, right? Because this is...
Yeah. I want to see what Metal Gear looks like on PS4.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it even plays pretty good. It's just, there's not much of it.
They said some weird stuff in that comparison, though. Like, apparently, like the PS4... When you look at the 4 shots side by side, the sky on the PS4 one looks pretty empty compared to the other ones, which have like a cloud box. And and apparently that's because they're simulating some form of atmosphere. And it's like, wait, what?
Okay.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, well, mate, I don't know. I guess it depends on like how the atmosphere affects light or something. I mean, it's got different weather conditions, right? So...
Well, they separate it out into like the rainy stages for the main story, and everything else happens in the day.
Yeah.
So it's like they've segregated it that way.
Makes sense.
But yeah, actually looks all right, but I'm not sure I'm that interested, because it's stealth. Yeah. This apparently doesn't have the same level of Metal Gear craziness that they normally have. No 40-minute cutscenes,
Damn it.
Just the reason why I play those games.
For all the dumb cutscenes and insane, ridiculous story, where it's like half like realistic modern military and half totally insane anime nonsense.
Because apparently this does have a storytelling problem, in that, there's like an 11-page text thing you have to read in order to understand some of the story from the Peace Walker, from Metal Gear Peace Walker, which is apparently the predecessor to this one,
right?
In whatever canon they go by, and it's so like some of the plot you just really won't understand unless you played Peace Walker, even with that 11-page text.
Blimey.
So that's kind of weird.
Pages. Yeah. Okay.
But apparently you can hear Brandon Jones from game trailers just read it to you if you don't like reading. Like
press a button and have them.
Yeah, they got their voiceover. Well, not in the game, but they got like the GT did a special video of it, and it's like, yeah, you don't like to read? We have Brandon Jones read it for you.
That's so dumb. For all those gamers that just can't stand reading.
I don't know. You might make it slightly more palatable, like
maybe
a dramatic reading, rather than just a wall of text.
True. Fair enough.
It's like the intro to Star Fox. Corneria.
It wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't very long, but it's better with a voice.
So what else is going on? Was there any other GDC news?
Morpheus VR.
Yeah, Morpheus VR, and also there's a new dev kit for Oculus, right?
That was there. I didn't...
Yeah, there's a V2 dev kit, which is like based off the Crystal Cove prototype, but actually a proper dev kit to send out to people.
All right, so these are like the 1080 ones, or the ones? With are these the ones with the positional dots?
They
have
on the front, the positional dots, but they've kind of hidden the dots behind like translucent, so you can't actually see the dots.
All right, they're not so
but they're
white.
there. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't look so weird. But it works. It has the same head tracking with the camera and stuff. I think it's slightly better performance than the Crystal Cove, and obviously better than the V1 because it's got that what's it called? Low persistence thing that was in
the thing you were trying to explain before.
Yeah, where it doesn't show the image for as long on the screen. So there's like actually large parts where the screen is totally blank, but that helps with a lot with the blurriness when you move your head to only see the image when it's exactly.
It's weird.
The right
Wouldn't
time.
That just be really?
You don't notice it though. Apparently,
yeah.
It'd be fast enough.
They must have a hella fast refresh rate on that screen.
Yeah, well, it's like
if you dropped
96
one frame on a 60, if you dropped one frame on out of 60, you'd probably notice it.
Yeah, well, John Carmack was on because, of course, he works for them now, and he was popping up on the little as a talking head on their like video for introducing this thing, and he was saying that he originally thought that all we have to do is get to 120 hertz and we're done because that will sort it, but and they're not there yet with the displays. But that he was saying it was actually Valve's research that pointed it that made them realize how important this low persistence thing is and how much of a benefit it gives. So even though they have a lower refresh rate, the fact that they're doing this thing makes it work a lot better. That's what he was saying anyways. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
John it's a weird one.
Yeah.
If Carmack says it, maybe it's true, but it's like I just find the concept of it like perhaps flickering to black kind of hard to believe, unless they've got like a problem with the actual, as you say, the blurriness of the screen. Like, there is screen persistence on a screen that small that they're struggling with. So when the black happens, you actually see the lights don't turn off fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd think they'd have all kinds of issues to that because you can't. I wouldn't have thought that mobile phone screens, which is presumably what they use, right? Are like, you wouldn't think they care about that too much, like the people making those screens.
No, I mean even the ones that like shout about being high refresh rate mobile screens, like apparently my Lumia has, they still have noticeable trails.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, in fact, the Lumia probably isn't actually that good. You put it next to an iPhone, and they were sort of shouting about it at one point. But I think the iPad's better.
But yes, the Morpheus is the Sony one, right?
Yeah.
And apparently it's
which
on
just
roughly
looks
on
kind
par.
of the same, but with blue neon.
Well, it kind of looks cooler as a thing, doesn't it? It looks like crazy.
It depends, though. Can they get the all of the vision filling angle with that thing? Because presumably it doesn't look quite so bulky. So do they have like a smaller screen and smaller lenses, and then does that have the same effect as?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, people seem to be impressed by it. I mean, you can't really comment on it until you've tried it. Really, that's the trouble with these things.
No. But yeah, I guess that's one way of targeting PS4 anyway, with something, because Oculus were sort of cagey about whether it would work. The thing about the Morpheus stuff, though, is it's probably a recipe for disaster in some aspects, because some of the stuff they've been showing is that they made the natural connection of combining it with a Move controller. And we know the Move controllers to be pretty accurate. So in theory, you could like map your hands into the world, and they could render them so you can see your hands and stuff. If you're holding
totally.
a controller, which is cool. Except if they expect you to be wearing this, doing motion control, standing up in your living room, how many injuries did they expect?
But well, it seems
because you can't see where you are. You'll be like walking into a coffee table or tripping over the couch.
I don't think you're walking.
You'll have to be sitting. You'll have to be sitting. But I think they showed stuff with people standing. But
that's like a trade.
But even if you're standing, you could sort of like adjust your stance, and you'll be moving a bit. And it's like the console would have to be like, okay, can you define your safe zone, please? If you start getting close to the edges of this, I'll warn you.
Well, that won't be that hard.
No, but I'm saying they'll have to think about these things.
The whole thing's kind of ridiculous. It always was. The fact that it's getting so that it actually works doesn't make it any less sort of inherently weird.
Yeah. Still very interesting.
Cool. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, it's good that Sony are throwing their kind of R&D weight behind. Because I think Microsoft probably are. They're not ready to talk about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in that building in Cambridge there weren't a ton of people working on it.
I don't know if it was official or not, but there's been some news floating around that Microsoft are working on something. But whether that's just rumor or whether someone at Microsoft actually said it, no idea. Did we talk about NT-kernel last time?
No.
I can't remember.
What's up?
NT-kernel is this. No, it's not the kernel of Windows. I'm not talking about the same thing here. NT-kernel was this
doesn't it?
Yeah, no, he sort of made his name like that. But it's this guy that on some forum, I think on Gaff.
Oh, is he called himself after the kernel of Windows?
Yeah, maybe. So it's the easiest way of pronouncing that combination of letters that he had. He a while back now, like a few months ago, posted like a ton of stuff that Microsoft was supposedly doing. Like he posted pictures of a TitanFall styled Xbox One, and he came up with a load of games that are probably going to be that are unannounced but probably going to release in the next couple of years that are directly connected to Microsoft Game Studios, all kinds of stuff. And everyone was just like, yeah, sure, whatever, mate. But then the TitanFall Xbox turned up. Someone at Respawn tweeted a picture of it, because apparently it never went into production. And it's just like, here's what the Titanfall Xbox One looked like. And it is exactly the same as what NT-kernel posted several months prior. So this has started to raise the eyebrow of people saying, hang on, if that's true, what else did he say stacks up? So some of the things he talked about was, okay, there's a Platinum Games exclusive coming to Xbone. That's about as far as that went. There's a new Forza Horizon game in the works, which I think everyone sort of expected. But the other sort of interesting stuff is that Halo 5 isn't going to come out this year. It's going to come out next year. There's going to be a Halo 2 Anniversary Edition come out this year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same? Well, I guess you don't know, but same deal.
No one knows. Is it going to be designed for 360 or Xbone?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And also that there's plans to port Halo 3 and Halo 4 up to Xbone at some point.
Okay.
There was a ton of other stuff, but that's the stuff that sort of stood out to me anyway. Because it's Halo.
That's kind of crazy.
Is any of this true? We don't know, but he's been right before.
Interesting. Well, it's good to hear these things, because it makes you think and speculate, even if it's just speculation. It's like,
the probably the most likely theory that this is a controlled leak and Microsoft are trying it in an attempt to sort of get viral news out there before like E3 or something. And
oh crap, E3 is coming up, isn't it? I hadn't even thought of that.
It's a couple of months away.
Yeah, a couple of months. Crimedy. It's because last E3 was the big one with the new consoles. So
yeah.
So this
this one's still kind of big because in theory we'll actually hear about games that we'll be interested in.
Yeah, that kind of matters. It's dumb that you have to wait a whole year, but it's like here's the consoles. Okay, here's the games. Maybe. Woo.
I wonder if the whole Xbox not being ready thing is why Microsoft focused so heavily on telly in their first reveal.
Do you think? I don't know. They've always been suspected of, wanting to quote unquote own the living room and all that crap.
Well, true.
So that's. I mean, it was never going to happen. I don't think. I don't know if how much they've pulled it off. I mean, certainly not in. I mean,
they haven't yet. I mean, DLNA is such a feature that they need to put in there for that to work. For it to work in a lot of people's setups that got used to how PS3 worked and how Xbox 360 worked. Like,
sorry. Get your phone call. Need to stop that. How do I? There we go. Sorted. Carry on.
You put your phone on silent. Does the alarm still sound?
It wasn't my phone. It was my Skype.
Oh, landline. Oh, Skype.
Yeah.
Boot, boot, boot. Woot, woot, boot, boot, boot.
Well, how you stop that is just quit it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Skype can be a bit funny. Like on my work PC, if someone rings me, but it's the first thing that's happened in the day, even if I accept the call or even if I decline it, that ringtone will be playing for about a minute afterwards, and then it will sort of catch up. Oh yeah, you click something. Guy. But yeah, maybe by summer that means that the Xbone will be where 360 was. It's depressing to say.
Well,
but then PS4 doesn't have that stuff yet either. So
no, exactly. So it should be a good one.
So yeah, that's all I've really got for GDC. Really, it wasn't great. Oh, unless the UE demo stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, what's going on with you? So Unreal have changed their licensing model, right? So that you can anyone can they're open sourcing it to some extent, and then you have to you pay
open
a percent.
UE4, or is this
I think
UE3 going end of life?
No. I think they have a new plan where you license it and you pay them a percentage of revenue or whatever, but they just provide the whole.
I see. So it's actually it doesn't cost you anything to get up and running in UE.
Exactly, that's the idea. So it's it's better than, because you used to have a different scheme, like the Unreal Development Kit or something, which wasn't the full thing or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I haven't obviously tried to make a game with the Unreal Engine, but apparently this is quite exciting from a kind of development standpoint.
I guess
they're literally putting it
on a parity with Unity to some degree, because I think Unity only requires cash if you actually start to sell things.
Yeah, but I was talking to Ben Parbury on Friday, and he was saying that Unity need to cut their prices.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I found that quite interesting, because he works
Unity
with
the go-to.
Yeah, me too.
For cheap development, anyway.
Yeah, because he's thinking of starting his own, making his own games and stuff. Because he works with the CryEngine all day, and I think he's a bit bored of FPSs. So there you go. Aren't we all? Maybe not. Not with Titanfall out.
Never.
Anyway, never.
I have so many shooters to catch up on. I hope I don't get too bored of them.
Well, what have you got in your backlog shooters-wise?
Far Cry 3 and Crysis 2.
Far Cry 3 is good.
Yeah. Crysis 2 I want to tackle from a technical perspective. Because as much as I didn't really get on with Crysis and Crysis Warhead, it's 2's a different game, and it's hella pretty. Even though 3's out.
Yeah, 3's out, right. But it's probably not too different to 2 in terms of tech, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I don't think so. You have the bow.
You do have the bow. It's all about bows.
And then there's Blood Dragon 2, which I haven't played either. Because, Blood Dragon.
Oh yeah, I got you that, didn't I? Yeah, but that would be nice and short. You could probably play that. Whereas Far Cry, the full-blown Far Cry 3 would be a bit longer, to say the least.
Yeah, so we'll see. All those to do at some point.
Okay.
I don't really have much else in the way of news, I'm afraid. Nothing else really happened.
I don't think there's not much going on.
What does Zach think of the new Yoshi's Island game?
Poop.
I think everyone seems to be in unison on this.
That graphic style just doesn't look right, does it?
I don't know what they thought they were doing.
Because it's not even. I don't think it's even as good as the one they put out on N64.
That was poop as well.
Because that was kind of a poop direction as well.
They don't understand what they actually were trying to do.
What is the direction of poop?
It's a poop direction.
Down.
You'd hope so. You shouldn't try to poop when you're upside down.
And I don't know, it's just like that art style just like seems like it just makes the game slow. Because it's like the original Yoshi story wasn't slow it was slow in some parts, but you could go fast. And it doesn't, for some reason, that art style just doesn't seem to mesh with the idea of going fast.
I don't know, I always thought Yoshi's Island was a slightly more methodical game, but even by Mario standards.
Sometimes, but sometimes it wasn't. It still had Mario speedy bits, I guess. You just had to run.
Because they didn't, the conversation came up again about how the egg throwing works.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it has the old system back, which I never necessarily had too much of a problem with.
No.
But it's why haven't they sort of come up with some means of like having a more direct aiming, like maybe
like what?
I don't know, use a touch screen or.
Yeah, but you can't because you're trying to push all these buttons at the same time.
Yeah, I guess. But then they have this other mode on the DS, where you can tilt it to do your aim.
Literally the worst control scheme
ever. Yeah, probably not great.
Because that was the.
It's like if you went into egg mode, would it be easier just to be able to aim it with up and down while you're in egg mode? Because you can't move while in.
Yeah, you can. Well,
can you?
In the old game, you can.
Oh, I didn't know that. I forgot.
It's very important.
All right. Because you had to. Oh, I remember you do because you could lock where the aim was, perhaps then moving to.
Well, you could move as well, even while it wasn't locked, if you wanted to.
Yeah, but it'd be pretty hard. So anyway, I guess that came out. No one cares.
No.
What exactly was wrong with the crayon style that they had to think twice that wasn't good enough?
Well, it wasn't a crayon style, really. That was the thing. It's like they've tried to make it more like crayon, only too far. It's like it had nice black borders and shit in the original. Yeah. Now that they got rid of that in Yoshi's Story, and then they kept getting rid of that in this one.
Yoshi's Story was a weird one, wasn't it? Because it sort of had it was almost papercraft in some ways. But apart from the model, the characters, which looked like I don't know, Donkey Kong country style, 3D models and a sprite.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It doesn't gel.
So fuck it.
And Mario still cries in the same way.
Well, it's never going to come down in price, so we don't care. That's the trouble. It's like if it went down in price, then I might bother. But it's not gonna ever.
No, these games don't.
It's a Mario game.
Are you annoyed with that yet?
It's not nearly as annoying as it should be to actually represent how annoying it was.
Are you saying it should? That particular feature in the game has been made slightly better because it's less annoying than how it originally was.
No, I was talking about your impression of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's not enough echo on it. That it had a slight delay on the sound. It's like wah, wah.
Maybe.
It was like a baby was shouting into a microphone at a rock concert, that kind of slight delay. People call them rock concerts anymore.
Yeah, that's
what else would you call them?
Gigs.
Yes.
That's all the cool kids say, anyway.
You guys liked Yoshi's Island kind of.
I like it. I didn't play it as much. I never played it very far into it, but I liked what I played.
But Zach, you played it quite a bit, didn't you? Is that your favorite Mario game? Technically a Mario game?
Maybe.
I love the styling. I love what they did with the SNES hardware at the time, the use of Mode 7 to make some of those interesting bosses and
that was cool.
Slightly nicer animation for some.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Because that was apparently it was kind of a reaction to what Rare did with Donkey Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like Nintendo going, Nintendo.
Oh shit! We need to be on top.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't let Rare get away with this.
Yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't even the same. It's not exactly like Nintendo stole the idea. It's not the same style or anything.
No, it's not like
no. It was just the fact that the graphics of Donkey Kong were quite advanced compared to
it was kind of groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah, but I think I prefer Yoshi's Island graphics to those Donkey Kong ones. Look a bit odd now with the way the sprites. Do you know what I mean about that certain style of like?
Yeah. It's
dropping these almost too weirdly real sprites into.
It's because it doesn't fit. A 2D game with 3D-esque looking or overly 3D-esque looking things just has never looked quite right. Because it's the point of like determining where the edge of something is in the game world is always different from how the sprite looks in those.
Yeah, exactly.
In those renderings, because they have depth, and depth is weird. Which is a problem you don't have when you play like the modern Donkey Kong countries, where it's all rendered in all consistent style. And the actual style of the newer games it's pretty clean cut compared to they didn't go the ultra realistic route with pre-rendered graphics.
That's true.
Can you imagine what that would even look like if someone tried that now?
What?
That's Yoshi's Island. Pre-rendered Yoshi.
It's not really though at all. It's like the Yoshi Island one at least tries to have a style on top of their like pre-rendered ishness, whereas the Donkey Kong one was just like the videos in Worms 1, where it's just like this is as good as we can output, which makes it look weird because it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a 3D model.
Yeah. Wait, which one was which? Because one was Yoshi's Island and one was Yoshi's Story.
Yoshi's Story was the 64 one.
Is it? That's that way round. Okay.
Yeah.
And they've called this one Yoshi's Island 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
And Yoshi's Island was supposed to be Super Mario World 2. Apparently.
It is technically a Super Mario World 2 : Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
Not as good as Super Mario World, though. God damn it. That game's awesome. That might be my favourite Mario. 2D Mario.
Again, another one I've not really ever got very far with. Because
I recommend that one.
Forest of Mystery or whatever the shit is, where you have to try and find your way out.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Fuck that.
It had booze and shit.
Forest of Illusion.
And it had Yoshi.
Yeah, that's true. It introduced Yoshi.
I think so, yeah. That was cool.
Unless Yoshi's Cookie came first, I don't know. News?
No, I think everyone have news. We might have to move on to what you've been playing. Who should we start with?
You?
Me?
It's probably a good idea. For a change.
No, I haven't got anything.
Obviously, Dan hasn't played anything.
No. That won't work. No.
So you're on a video game podcast without playing games? Let me get this straight.
Fuck.
Does laser tag count?
No, I don't think laser tag counts. It's close enough, though. I played and lost it. Well, I won a couple of games of laser tag.
You won a game. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You were best player, and I was best agent on one of them. Mainly because I found it was this game type where 5 people get made into agents, and they have to be agents for as long as they can. If they die, the person who killed them becomes an agent. It's like I just won that by just finding a cubby hole that no one was looking in. That may have been outside the arena. I'm not sure.
I never realised I'd turned
thinking
into
about
an
it.
agent.
I might have cheated real bad.
Awesome. Well, if you can get away with it, that's what counts, right?
Well, there was a sort of open.
You're thinking like an agent.
Yeah, there was a sort of open door that we sort of just wandered through, and it's like it went to. If you went down this route far enough, it looked like it went to some sort of storage room. So I sort of stayed at the end.
Stayed in the storage room. Won the game.
Well, I didn't stay in the storage room, so I didn't go that far. But I sort of stayed in the sort of entrance to it. So in theory, someone could have seen my red lights. But
I couldn't figure out. I didn't. Whenever I killed someone and turned red, I never managed to get away in time to actually have a chance of hiding, because the moment I turn red, I was
everyone
dead.
notices and you're gonna get immediately shot. You have to corner an agent that no one knows about and sneak away. That's the problem with all these sort of laser tag games, really, isn't it? Like, how they handle death just doesn't feel right ever.
Yeah, but there's not much they can do.
No,
it's hard to design it.
Well, I think the only way you could probably pull it off is to do like a proper attack defense style game type. You know, where like there's two teams, there's two bases. Someone has to infiltrate the enemy base and destroy a thing. But if you get killed, you have to return to your base or some way behind your base, like a game, like a Team Fortress. Stop making noise, cat.
I think they should have been more. It should maybe if I paid attention, it would have been better. But like, it should be more obvious, like from the patterns of lights on you, what state you're in or whatever, like whether you're dead or.
Oh, I didn't think that was too much of a problem. There was like the annoying thing with that particular laser tag setup was the guns required you to have both hands on them before it would fire.
Right.
So if you took your palm off the well, I don't know what you call it, the barrel holder area, it would go boo-doo, and you wouldn't be able to shoot. Except the problem is I found that kind of dodgy when you're starting to sweat a bit.
Right.
And it's like my gun would just turn off at times. It's like, why can't I shoot?
Yeah, that's annoying.
I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it safe, but in the process, or less likely for you to throw a gun at someone.
Yeah, I suppose. It's a shame because you couldn't run away while shooting behind you.
Actually, I tried that a few times, and I was like, that wasn't working, was it?
Damn it! It's annoying.
I was sort of surprised at how far the tech, they're actually using slightly more modern technology than the 1985 crap I'm used to.
Yeah, but it seemed fairly up to date. It seemed pretty good.
Wi-Fi and a weird remote control thing that can
like a wand of doom
stuff.
Changes your colours and shit. And they had various game types, didn't they? I mean,
zombie mode was cool.
Yeah, and they had different weapons. Like, I quite like the switching weapon mechanic thing. Was that common in laser tag?
Yeah, Quasar used to have that as well.
Oh, okay.
But the button was always like, I think it was like an afterthought because it was like this little shitty, like Radio Shack style pin button that used to sit on the top of the gun. And then like some of the game modes had like 6 weapons, so you'd have to cycle between them. But there's no way of telling which weapon you're on except by firing.
Yeah, I needed to pay more attention to my. It took me a while to realize that I could look at the shields recharging as I was dead, so I knew when I was going to turn alive again.
Well, eventually you just learn the timing.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy's going to be alive right about now, and he's dead.
And he's dead.
Success is mine. So we did that. So is that all you've done, really?
Yeah, I think so.
No more Max Payne?
No, I finished Max Payne. That was good.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to play next. Well, I was thinking if, I've been thinking about the upgrade, basically, but I don't know if because now I realised I need to get some more. My jeans are falling apart. I need nukes to buy things with my paycheck this month. I need to buy clothes and shit, so it might be postponed yet again, but that's okay.
Clothes can wait, man.
Yeah.
London will accept your pants.
Yeah. Will they, though? You don't know. London knows strange about pants.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
You have to have fashion pants. Or...
Exactly. I work in Shoreditch, man. I can't go around with ripped jeans. Or maybe I can.
Why, actually?
Not ripped in the wrong place, though. They're ripped
in the balls.
No, they're not ripped in the balls. Although it does that is an area that wears really badly. Like when jeans go, they do sometimes go in the crotch.
I do have a pair of jeans that I think are on the cusp of having a ball-related accident.
A ball-related incident, exactly. So I might have to sort that out. And I need a haircut. All various stupid appearance-related things, like not looking like a tramp things that I need to spend money on.
These jeans are cusping my balls.
Cusping? Oh dear. Indeed. Damn it! It's true though. So... Because I played quite a lot the last time, right? Because I played that, and I even played some Dirt. Yeah, I even played some Dirt 3, and I played some.
Oh, did you?
Deus
you didn't
Ex,
talk about that.
Did I not?
You played some Deus Ex. You didn't talk about that either.
I did talk about that. Maybe not last time, but I was carrying on with that.
I might not have been listening.
I was playing Human Revolution. Anyway, never mind.
No, that was a while ago.
No, but I was carrying on with it.
Okay.
Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, fuck it.
I need to play. I know what I do. I'm looking at my Steam list now. I need to play Gone Home because I've got that in the. I got that in the sale.
Okay. Yeah. Games we should have played.
Yeah, I should get onto that. Anyway, let's go on to there's big things happening. Anyway, I don't need to talk about what I've been playing because there's a new game out that you guys have both been playing that you probably should talk about. Is that right?
I'm going to let Zach lead on this.
I don't have that much to say. I played the campaign on both sides and that was it pretty much.
Really? Yeah. So, TitanFall came out, of course. And so you haven't really gone back into it, like, even after... Just tell us about the campaign, because that was the bit that was, like, sort of unknown.
Well, there's not anything to it. It's just multiplayer games that you play in a row. With the same people, I guess, but that's not actually different from how multiplayer servers work anyway.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I find it's a little bit of a disappointment, really, because it's not anything clever at all. It's just the same maps and multiplayer rules as you were before, but they go in order through 9 of the levels.
But not all of the maps and not all of the rules.
No.
They didn't manage to capture the flag into the storyline somehow.
Yeah, but that would have been fucked up. It's like, but the storyline that I thought was crap, and it's kind of, it doesn't matter you being there. It starts and ends in kind of a weird place. And I don't know. It's obviously the afterthought.
But it's kind of a shame because they were kind of hyping it as being like, oh.
They never really hyped it. They never really told you anything about it other than we're trying to do something.
I suppose.
So it's a bit of a bummer. But then again, that's not why most people are... It was always like clear from the start that this is being aimed specifically at multiplayer. So I guess it's not too much of a problem. It's sort of exacerbated slightly by the fact that I think in order to encourage people to go back to campaign, so people coming into it who want to play campaign have other people to play against, that there's actually some Xbone achievements or something for playing a shit ton of campaign matches. And it's like, oh, really? I don't really want to do these again. Or there's like achievement for making sure you win every one of the campaign missions from either side. But then there's no indication in the game to tell you which ones you've actually won. There's only an indication to say which levels you've done. Because it doesn't matter if you fail.
Right.
Of course.
No.
But once you've done them, you can go into any of them at any point anyway.
Yeah, true.
It's just like playing a multiplayer match.
Yeah, but you don't really know which one you've actually kind of... As I say, if you want to target to get those achievements...
In theory, what happened when I was playing the campaign is you either just win them all or you lose them all. It just depends on what the teams are like at the start.
I guess.
Who you get stuck with.
They do, people drop out and people switch around, so I do find it varies, but... So yeah. That I wasn't too impressed by. I not a lot really. Like sort of in the core design of the game, it has changed since the beta. I mean, nor could it in like a month. But like there are things that maybe I thought, oh, this is just a beta thing, that are still there. So I have numerous connection issues. Not during the course of a game, but sometimes as I come out of a game, I get dumped back to the private lobby, or at least I would if whenever I try to do that, the game just can't connect to servers and dumps me back to the main menu, at which point it then has to try and connect to a matchmaking server, which may or may not happen for quite some time.
Right.
Now, as I discovered, part of that is because I have difficulty doing port forwarding in my local network to my Xbone, unless I put the Xbone in the DMZ. If I do that, then things are much improved, but I will still get kicked out to the main menu screen when trying to exit a lobby and stuff like that. And there's and it can still occasionally take a while to connect to the matchmaking servers.
Mhm.
So, although the problem is less, it's still kind of an issue for me. I find it sort of confusing that this is a problem in a game that is geared up for multiplayer and running on an, in theory, fairly infinite cloud of Xbox servers.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, because this was the whole thing with the X-Bone, right? I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, it's not Battlefield and it's not SimCity, so EA.
Right.
This is a positive for EA. Let's put it that way.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Not that EA are probably involved at all, but
it's not actually positive for EA because it's not their servers.
No, it's the Microsoft service. I presume it's Azure based stuff. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, that's what
cool.
new Xbox Live is based on. What their server spin up and spin down stuff is. So yeah, no player is ever hosting a game, which gets rid of that problem.
I think Azure might be the coolest and cleverest thing that Microsoft are doing. Because I think this
for gaming, it's a genius idea, isn't it? It's like spin up and spin down servers as players want them. As a game is popular, spin up more. When the drop off eventually happens, those servers will naturally turn off, and the new games will get the power. It's a perfect idea for game servers. Yeah,
it's great for that. I think it's just great in general, and I think they're doing it really well because, not for gaming, but just for even in general. I've used AWS, and it's a bit clunky to be honest. And Azure seems quite a lot cooler.
I've not used either, but I researched them at one point, and it's you can do most of the same stuff in either, but at the same time, it's how you do that same stuff seems more streamlined in Azure.
And I don't know if anyone are running game dedicated servers on AWS. They probably are, but it seems like they've put a lot of deliberate thought into it for Azure, obviously for Xbox Live or whatever. But then you can bring that benefit to the PC as you clearly can with TitanFall, right? The PC,
Titanfall has launched using the same
same
service.
Infrastructure. Yeah. So
which is interesting. I wonder how much Respawn and EA had to negotiate with Microsoft to get that, because Microsoft was saying, this is available for free to Xbox people, and it's well, here comes a PC game that's using it as well.
Yeah. Because supposedly,
maybe that was part of the deal to get Titanfall exclusivity.
Well, apparently the EA have definitely got the rights for Titanfall 2 or whatever, but it's not necessarily. It's not.
I doubt it'll be an exclusive. Yeah.
But what will they do about servers then? Well, I guess it's too early to worry about that. But
they'll have to do something different for the PlayStation version, and that's on them.
Would have thought so. Anyway.
But it's a good advert for the system as a whole, because it does, once I'm in the game, despite those connection problems of getting out of stuff and being dumped in the wrong place, it's actually, when you're playing a game, I have not had a single problem.
Unless you're just playing against someone who's obviously connected to the wrong server for some reason. It's I'm playing on a European server. Why does this guy have a ping over 200?
Well, you can't see the ping. Do they display the ping numbers in the PC version?
I'm pretty sure.
Because they don't do that on Xbox. They have the classic shitty...
Yeah.
I want numbers, man.
Numbers are better than the sort of mobile phone reception thingamajig.
Yeah. What does that even mean? What are the boundaries of that? Is hella ping still full green, that kind of stuff.
But I was also why does the West Europe server still ping at over 50 for me? It's where is this in server?
Well, see, mine doesn't. I've had
at least France to have a bit ping at 50.
Yeah, I don't know where the data set. I think it's in Ireland, maybe.
That's about the same distance.
The AWS servers are in Ireland, so I'd be surprised if
I don't know whether
if the Microsoft ones. I think Microsoft have a big data center in Ireland. I know that because I saw a video on it ages ago, but that was quite a while ago. But maybe there's probably some economic reason why Ireland is good, because Apple are based in Ireland, right? They don't have anything in Britain. Anyway, which is weird. It's all tax reasons and things. Yeah.
It'll be something like that. Maybe electrical supply is cheaper in Ireland. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I guess they can cool stuff with the water from the hills and shit and all the rain. I don't know.
I think Ireland's much colder than the rest of the UK.
No, but more water.
I guess
available
surface area.
I'm probably talking crap as usual.
But I get quite low pings, like sub 20 for the West Europe center on Expo. I don't know if that's just my connection or like fiber being awesome.
So it does show the numbers there.
Yeah, that's the one place I get a number is on the data center ping, but because it lets you pick and shows you the ping times for all of them. And in fact, before you hit the play button, it should auto select whichever's faster, which is again kind of neat.
But entirely pointless, really, because it's like
why not
there's only one. I think you ever care about.
Yeah, well, I guess the only problem is like if you did want to play with people from America, like say you knew them like as friends or something, that you'd have to manually pick a data center to sort that out. So here's the thing. If nothing has changed, and like you can refer to the last episode for everything I talked about TitanFall, because it's all still true. It's all still pretty great. It's all still fantastic. But there are some, I don't know, elements to it where it's not up to speed with the likes of Call of Duty, let's say. So you can't create custom games. Everything is matchmaking, which will annoy some people. And there's no like pre-match voting system. You get what the game gives you, and you have no choice. So it's like we're playing this map, and if you're in the variety mode, we're playing this game type.
If you had voting in the variety mode, you wouldn't play all the other game types because people would just vote them out all the time.
Maybe, but perhaps that should be something to consider, because sometimes if you have a really close game on a map on COD, for instance, everyone votes to let's do that again. That was awesome because we had a real close fight and it was a very balanced game. Weirdly, that's how Call of Duty tends to work. People like the balance, and I like the balance, so that's where the vote goes, and you have a great time. This is just like, yeah, fuck it, move on.
If you had a balanced game, that should be the balance regardless of what map it is. Otherwise, it's the map's fault.
Well, some people are better at some game types than others. Like one of the things I've noticed, like about players, is they don't always follow the rules of the game. Like especially in like CTF, they don't. They'll split like when you're playing CTF, it's hard to know what I guess the rest of your team are up to. But you'll see someone just camping out somewhere where the flag bearer is never going to run because it's miles out of the way, and just shooting at grunts and stuff. And you're like, you're not helping anyone. And the same goes for like Pilot Hunter. We've got guys just shooting grunts all the time, and
yeah, but that's still important.
All it does is speed up your Titan, but actually, as the Titan in Pilot Hunter, it's kind of hard to kill pilots some of the time.
Yeah, but you're also protected from being killed if you're in a Titan.
I guess, but it's not. I don't know. I don't feel that's a legit strategy for that game type.
In fact, arguably in Pilot Hunter, you can just benefit people by just hiding in the furthest corner of the map you possibly can and never exposing yourself.
If everyone was strategic like that, then maybe. That's the other thing. You don't have many talkers and you don't have many... which is both good and bad in the sense that you don't have much strategic play at all. Like, the only time it's really come to play is the odd moment where I found myself standing next to Kippers, and it's like, hey, Kips, there's a pilot to your left. It'll go, all right. And watch that area for a bit while I cover the other side. That's about as strategic as we got.
But do you think there's scope for much more strategy? Not really.
I don't know. Maybe as we talked about before, perhaps some of the like last Titan standing stuff that were like sneaky tactics about hiding Titans. Maybe some of that is applicable. I mean, I guess you could come up with decent tactics to coordinate a CTF run. So one player, say, takes a Strider in to get the flag, or rides on another Titan to get the flag. As they're getting the flag, calls in their Strider,
right,
whilst using a burn card to get the dash core immediately, and then you can just dash your way back with unlimited dash back to deliver the flag. It has the scope for some of those plans.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anyone talking to anyone. I think I had one time where some guy came on the chat and went, all right, guys. And that was it. That was the last I heard of him.
Really? That's quite unusual because they're quite talkative in some games, aren't they? Like in COD and stuff.
Well, they're never talkative in a good way in these other games.
That's
the silence is quite nice.
Silence is golden.
And it's like when you're playing Garden Warfare, all you hear in the background is parents talking to their kids about how the game works.
Well, it must just be everyone has decided to turn their microphone off because of the dumb way that the Connect microphone is automatically like always transmitting, unless you set it to not.
Yeah, it's on by default, but which is not a good idea. And they might have changed that, actually. I get the feeling they might have done in the last patch or two. Not sure.
But
so that's kind of
aware that they've changed it. It's a question.
No idea.
They have.
Probably not.
No.
You don't get like a patch notes thing when an update occurs on Xbone. It just says, we need to update. Oh no, what's the phrase? It's time to update.
It's time to update. Oh really? Is that what you say?
Yeah. What you say?
What you say? Update time. Yes, indeed. So, do you think there's scope to play Titanfall competitively? Like
maybe
TF2 is played competitively, right? And COD is, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, the part of the problem, I guess, is because the levels are so big and it's only 6-on-6, is that everyone sort of spreads out quite a bit. Right. So you very rarely actually have a teammate close to you.
Okay, but you could stick together if you wanted, I guess.
You could try, but it doesn't happen organically,
right?
Unless you're just following some guy, and then you're probably not much help because you're spending your time trying to work out where he's going so you can follow him rather than really covering yourself. Or I don't know.
And you're so mobile as well with the crazy jumping and stuff.
You could fuck up a jump real easily and then just be like, oh, well, now I can't follow you.
Now I'm left behind.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure about that side of it. But, as a solo multiplayer game, sounds weird me saying it, it's still hella cool. It's like, but I guess, Zach, you raised an issue of perhaps there isn't enough progression content.
Well, there's virtually no content at all. And it's like, why did they even bother building a gun attachment system which has like a stats or like bars that show the stats when there's only one actual attachment? It's like when you have a gun, you have the default before you've unlocked any attachments. You have the expanded clip, which is just an upgrade because it doesn't have any drawbacks, and then you have the other thing, which is usually a silencer. And it's like that's not actually any option at all. If you don't like a silencer, you just use the expanded clip, and if you unlock this expanded clip, there's no reason not to use it.
It's a little disappointing in some respects because I think like after playing Black Ops 2 for ages, it's like you're kind of spoilt with the amount of choice you have. Like there's like 20 different attachment types or something. And like some of them are extended clips, some of them is a fast reload clip that like it's basically two clips taped together, so you flip it over and it works well the first time, but the second time you reload you have to throw it away and get another one. So it's like some interesting sort of mechanics like that. And some of the some of the scopes are different, like you get the millimeter scanner, which can sort of see through walls at close range, and you get a ton of options basically, like the laser sight that classically like makes hip fire better. And it's like there's none of that scope of stuff in this, and that's a little disappointing.
And also just like I basically haven't ever used any other gun apart from the one you start with, because it's just the generic good gun.
The carbine that you start with is it's the best all-round weapon,
and you don't get any other carbines. It's just like, well, you get other sort of similar things.
Yeah, you get the SMG, and then eventually the slightly longer range SMG, and then
but those aren't actual like you get like the one-shot or burst rifle eventually, but that's not really
the Hemlock. I find really difficult to use.
They aren't actually different versions of that gun, not like in Battlefield where you get like a goddamn ton of stuff, and maybe they don't make that much difference. But, I mean, come on.
This is the thing. I've always been in two minds about how they've played the gun out, because the one side of me is like, okay, maybe they've gone down the old Quake or Unreal route where it's like actually you don't need tons of guns that sort of fill the same role. will just have one or maybe two guns that fill that role, and you can pick between them. Whereas the Battlefield and Call of Duty approach is, let's have every fucking gun ever, and that are very subtly different from each other, and you have to spend the time to figure it out. Which is, but then, like, do you see what I mean? Like that last bit I said sounds good, like a good element of having tons of guns,
right?
But then the streamlinedness of how about we just make all those starting guns fill a particular role and stick to it. That also sounds kind of cool, because that means you're thinking about it like Quake or Unreal, like what is this gun good for? Do you need to have these other ones? So I'm sort of torn in that respect. It's like, I guess if you're going to play a lot of it and get real into it, more guns is just more interesting because you've got more room to play. But then Call of Duty kind of had the problem that in order to make some of the guns good, you needed to level them up to get the attachments to make the gun good.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, well, then that discourages you from moving on to the ones you've already leveled.
Yeah, but in Titanfall, you don't get any of the base guns. You unlock them as you progress.
But it's like, that's the COD system as well. But yeah, and the Battlefield system, in fairness.
No, really.
No, I guess
you get one of everything right at the start in Battlefield. Well, apart from not in 4 now.
Yeah, not in 4. Like, you have to unlock
it doesn't take
shotguns.
very long to get to the...
I don't know, it took me a while to get DMRs.
It's because you weren't using the right kit.
But the Battlefield 4 system is kind of messed up in the worst of ways. But... like, you want that DMR set that every class can use? Well, I'm going to force you to play sniper for a while.
It's not that much effort.
What if you crap at playing sniper? Then you don't get the points, and then you don't get the DMRs for ages, which is what happened to me.
The trouble with Battlefield 4 snipers is that since you don't have any option apart from actual rifles, it's not like, actually, I don't know. I don't
know, carbines are pretty useful.
Yeah, I guess, because you get those from one of the other classes, so you could port one of the other class guns onto snipers and just be like a dumb running gun sniper for a while, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
But yeah.
Or being a sniper with a DMR rather than a rifle.
Yeah, but then you have to unlock the DMR.
Yeah.
Which is why you're playing sniper in the first place.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's like... And also, kind of...
The same sort of applies to the Titans as well. The Titans have... the Titans are almost more interesting, but then the kit you apply to them are just kind of dull.
Yeah.
They're not... For a future environment with ships that can jump in and out of places and you have robot troops coming around, it just feels like they've played it way too safe on the weapons department.
Yeah, they didn't do any actual... like.
There's a charged railgun, but...
Well, it's like... And even the attachments for them, it's just like... Why is there just like...
The railgun's actually the more interesting one in terms of the attachments in a way, because there's a trade-off on both. Like, there isn't just a straight upgrade to the railgun.
Yeah, I think the Titan weapons may be actually better than the normal weapons for
there are a few that are just... Yeah, a few of the Titan weapons are just extended mag, but...
Well, yeah, I guess.
The difference between the 40mm normal and 40mm burst, is... But worth weighing up.
The actual attachments for the Titan, it's just like, there's a lot of those that don't feel like they're even worth attaching at all. Where it's just like, why would you not have smoke? I mean, it's the one defense you have against people jumping on you.
I'd just jump out and shoot.
Well, yeah. But then
and on some of my lighter, like the Strider, I have the smoke because I don't want to be jumping out of that because it will just die too fast.
Yeah. But I hadn't even bothered changing the chassis at all because it's just like, why would you want either of those other two? It's like the big one's too slow and the light one's too weak.
I have a tactic in Last Titan Standing where I use the Ogre, which is the big heavy shield.
Well, it's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, with a plasma rifle, and I just stay at the back. I let the others go forward and be fucking mental, and I'll just pick off the guys that are in a fight, not knowing I'm there.
Well, that's just the obvious tactic for Last Titan Standing. You use the one with the most health and the longest range.
Yeah.
Does everyone?
But that's the thing. But it wouldn't work if everyone did that because everyone would just close it, get real. If you got rushed by the other team, then you'd be fucked in a close range fight.
Yeah, but if everyone was shooting them, you'd kill them all from miles away before they got to you.
You'd hope. Yeah. That's what I mean. In a way, Last Titan Standing is the most interesting game type here. Like, it's not the most fun. I prefer playing attrition or hardpoint. But
I think attrition has problems. It's just like the whole idea of like you can get the points just from killing the grunts and stuff is like it's good in theory apart from when people don't do it you're boned.
Yeah, and because the grunts kind of spawn sort of randomly. I mean, some of the levels you can find a spot where the drops come in fairly regularly and insert
just stand there.
Yeah, and just throw grenades at the where those drops are landing and kill all the grunts in one go. It's because of the sort of random element that the grunts add that makes attrition kind of weird, but at the same time, it's the most accessible game mode because it gives
the other problem with attrition is just the grunt system is exactly antithetical to the manoeuvring system because it's like, I can climb up on top of these buildings, but then I won't be shooting grunts because there's no fucking grunts up there.
No, it's weird. On some levels, the grunts get into mysterious places, and it's like, how did you even get here? Like on Fracture, they can climb one of the buildings and get quite high in it, but there's no just walking route there. So it's like, how? Wait, where are you coming from?
Well, the robots have jetpacks; they'll jump.
Yeah, the specters. The specters make sense, but just the grunts, just dudes.
But yeah, it's like that doesn't really work for you have the maneuverability to climb off the roofs, and you probably want to because being on foot when there's Titans around, you want to be higher up than them because that's how you win.
Yeah.
And then you're not shooting the grunts, and then you're screwing your team. So that maybe would push you towards playing the Pilot Hunter, but I think that's too far the other way. It's like when the only way you can get points is by killing a guy.
Yeah, it's interesting because that shooting at grunts and specters feels like a risk in Pilot Hunter. Because if you do that, then you don't use a suppressor. You're announcing to everyone where you are.
Map?
I look at it all the time.
I don't think I ever look at it.
I look at all, especially when Titans are about. Like big red marker. I'm not going that way while I'm a pilot. So I think it has problems. I think it has some work to do to catch up the COD, but
it's going to do that work, I presume. I mean, there'll be another Titanfall. I mean,
and it's different enough to get away with it at this stage. I think. Yeah, it's like they do need to do more, and if they don't in the sequel, then it's gonna, it's gonna be quite annoying. You can sort of understand maybe that Respawn being a comparatively small team and probably comparatively underfunded compared to Call of Duty, why this has occurred. So, you can give them some slack from that. But from the consumer perspective, $60 for Titanfall isn't necessarily a good proposition against $60 for Call of Duty, where you get a fully fledged campaign, a heck of a content-rich multiplayer, and the zombies mode, or whatever the extra mode is in that particular year's version of Call of Duty. $60 for Call of Duty is pretty damn good value. So it's a hard sell in a way to people in the know. Yeah,
you're paying for the newness of the gameplay, I guess, or the innovation.
It's still hella fun. I was trying to think, in my head, do I actually think it's more or less fun than Garden Warfare? I actually had this argument, and that's maybe part of the problem.
Okay.
And that because Garden Warfare is so good and it's kind of a throwaway shooter.
Are you having more fun with Plants vs. Zombies?
I do have a smile on my face most of the time playing that game. It's it's a different experience. It's completely different. So it's hard to be comparative. But I guess they're both multiplayer shooters. They've both come out at the same time, and they're both published by EA.
That's true. So, do you do a lot of Robo Guard mode or whatever, where your Titan follows you around?
Very rare. Oh, not often. Only when I sort of. I rarely do that, to be honest. Only when I feel like I need to get this pilot that's nearby, but I can't find him, so I'll try and go on foot to ferret him out. But
just run away. I just stay in the robot all the time. I'm way more effective than just being in the robot.
I am better in a Titan than I am on foot. Yeah.
Because I've heard people saying
yes.
they use that all the time as the main. They don't like being in the Titan.
Well, but people do it.
It depends what some Titan loadouts seem more effective at being auto Titan than others.
Also there's the unlock for upgraded Titan AI, which probably you need.
Yeah, but you get that quite late level though, so it's you probably won't get it for long before you decide to prestige.
Which is retarded as well. That's the other thing about the unlock system, where it's I'm unlocking a gun at level 48, 2 levels before I reset everything.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, COD did that as well, but in Black Ops, you could prestige to keep a gun permanently.
Yeah.
So naturally, you pick the one that comes at level 49 or something. And it's like, I'll just have that one then. Because as it turns out, that's probably my favourite assault rifle. So yeah, Kippers was. I haven't experienced it yet, but Kippers was telling me that the prestige system is kind of brutal. I don't know what the benefit is to doing it other than getting it.
Is a benefit.
No, because at least Blops gave you something each time you did it.
Yeah, but what did it? It's like, what benefit could they even have? You can't actually give you an actual benefit.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice, say, if it gave you one extra loadout slot, maybe little things, because
extra burn card slot or something.
Yeah,
or more space to store burn cards. Because
yeah,
always too
something meta, because COD did that by you have to prestige once in order to be able to unlock the majority of the calling cards, which is the stupid little things that appear when you kill someone or where someone kills you, or I think some of the non-important to gameplay stuff was locked behind prestige walls. It's just as a sort of a very minor reward for doing it, which then made it kind of there's a point in doing this other than just. There's actually a point in doing this other than for the prestige.
But I don't think they're
slightly ironic.
I don't think even then that's enough point. It's just it's a dumb system where it's just you go all the way up to this point and you reset your progress basically and start from the trigger. And the only thing you're getting is prestige, literally. And it's the classic problem of if you don't do it, you're well, I'm wasting this experience I'm getting now. Well, it's it's such a sucky system from the perspective of the player. It's just
you're opting back into the feedback loop, is what you're doing by prestiging. You're opting back into seeing the numbers go up.
If they wanted to keep the feedback loop, just have it be an infinite level, so the numbers always go up forever. They don't have to reset all your unlocks every time.
I don't know. It's always somewhat. I don't know. But the unlocks is a satisfying thing, even if it's.
Yeah, but no, it's not though, because you've already unlocked them before, so you already know what all the unlocks are, and you've already played around with them.
I'm thinking that this theory doesn't work on you, but that psychologically it works on a lot of people.
I can't imagine why.
Unlocks.
They're the same unlocks.
But surely that's the same as the loot system in an MMO. Most of the loot you get is bullshit, but it's it's loot.
Yeah, but you're not. If you're talking Guild Wars 2, most of the loot that I get, I just salvage, and it's just that's not loot. It's just salvage. all I'm after is the salvage at that point.
I guess maybe Guild Wars isn't the best example, but for some games, it's whenever you get something, there's a chance that it's going to be better than what you have, and so you just keep looking all the time.
Yeah, but once you've reached the peak, once you've got your setup, I mean, think about
But then, what is there for you? That's the problem. What is there for you at that point?
Then you're done with the game. It's in Torchlight 2, I'm nowhere near the end of I never got to the end of the skill tree or whatever. I never leveled up enough to actually get enough points to fill out all of my chosen tree.
But they don't want you to be done with the game, is the thing.
Yeah, but they've made it a long enough progression that it takes fucking forever to get to that point. Rather than in TitanFall, where you can go up 20 levels in one day of playing. Because I did.
Well, at the start, yeah. It's it's definitely slowed down for me now. I'm at 30-something.
It doesn't seem that slow though.
I haven't prestiged yet.
It was a couple of days. I mean, easily on. I saw people who had already prestiged on launch day.
Oh yeah.
Within 6 hours.
Man, yeah, I saw that.
Not exactly difficult, and you can get burn cards to give yourself tons of bonus points.
Yeah, but I kind of like that you can use a burn card to work as an XP doubler instead of getting an actual boost. Instead of being faster, or instead of having an amped weapon, or it's again, it's a sort of, if you're going to waste a card on that.
Well, at least in that case, it normally doesn't feel like such a waste when you just die. It's when you've got an amped gun and you just walk out and immediately die. You're well, fuck. If it was just the experience range, you're oh well, I guess I didn't exploit that very well.
It's you taking an amped anti-Titan weapon. It's right, okay, the Titans are really fucking me over this time. I'll burn my amped anti-Titan weapon, and then you spawn, and there's some dude in front of you who kills you, and you're oh fuck. I had the rematch is the worst. Have you been rematched?
No.
It happened to me once, and some guy just literally, like, because you burn the rematch card and it spawns you where you died.
Yeah.
So some guy, I killed a guy, and he did it immediately, and was just facing me, and I'm like, what? And just jump kicked me, because he just appeared in front of my face, and just immediately pressed the jump kick button, and it's like, well, there's nothing I could have fucking done about that.
That doesn't one hit you from the front, though, does it?
Yeah, it does. Jump kick is always one hit kill.
What?
Is
No,
it?
It's not.
It is for me. It's always been one hit kill, whenever I've played. Like, even from the front, even from the side, like...
Because it's only meant to be a one-hit kill when you do the neck snap, which is from behind. That's the whole point of having a different animation.
I think it worked. No, I think it's... For me, it's always been one hit kill. Always. Not a single time have I been hit by it and gone, oh, I'm good.
That's the main melee, right? So the melee is one
to
hit
me,
kill.
I think it works like the knife in COD, which has always been insta-kill.
Right.
And it's just with a longer animation.
But in that case, the actual neck snap is the worst option.
Yeah,
because it's a much worse animation to go through.
It is. It's bad, but you get more experience for doing it.
For some reason. The only reason you should get more experience is if it's the one-hit kill one. Because then you're doing it for the points. I
mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you, but that maybe that's dumb. Because, you know, killing someone with a jump kick is dumb in the first place.
The whole animation is completely dumb. I don't know why they chose to do that. It's just, it doesn't
sound
right
cool.
at all.
It sounded cool on paper, I'm sure, at some point.
I don't think it is any kind of cool. It's like a jump kick wouldn't kill anyone anyway.
It's true.
And it's not like they've invented some kind of mysterious, like, technological explanation for how they made, like, a super boot or something.
Yeah. It's not like the
rocket-powered boot. Yeah.
It's not like the gravity boot from Bulletstorm or anything.
Exactly.
Which was the technical explanation for that. Gravity boots.
Was it what? It had extra gravity than your average boot.
Well, no. When you kicked someone, it created a gravitational field around them to slow them down.
It's basically like a Mass Effect field.
Yeah.
It's like you had some element 0 in your boots.
Yeah. Gravity boots. It's a hell of a mechanic. So yeah, Titanfall. It is recommend. I do recommend it. I do love it, but it's work to be done.
How's it run on your PC, Zeg? I guess you've got a really fast one, haven't you? So,
well, if it was anything like mine, flawlessly, and you can probably run it in Insane, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Runs fine. No one's playing it though. I mean, none of the people that I usually play stuff with. No, not a single person on my Origin friends listed upwards, which is the people out of IRC. Right. None of them are playing it. They didn't seem interested at all.
Surprising. Is it because they're not interested in COD, you think? Or
I don't know. A couple of them play Call of Duty multiplayer on PC quite a bit. On Steam.
I think it lacks some of that, customization and what you can do and how you can play the game is a little limited.
Do you think they will patch any of that stuff in, or do you think it'll be for the sequel?
If they do patch it in, I bet it will be DLC.
Well, they've already got their season pass and shit, so
do they?
However much of that is going to come out of, I don't know how many packs they're doing or what those packs are going to contain. So they can't they can't put guns and stuff in those.
So here's the other side of this.
They could, in theory, like fucking Northern Strike from 2142, I guess, but those were like such weird esoteric guns that they didn't really fuck up the balance.
No, they were weird for like one purpose one specific purpose. Well, here's the sort of flip side of that argument. Like, I doubt it will carry over because it's a big ass franchise. EA are going to want to Call of Duty the money out of it. But Garden Warfare had its first DLC this week. After being out for like a week or 2 weeks, it had its first DLC, and it's free, and it adds a game mode.
Cool.
That's not a DLC. That's a patch.
On a console, it's as good as. You don't get patches that add content on consoles.
Yeah, there's patches just for fixing bugs, aren't they, I guess?
Yeah.
On consoles, anyway.
It's free DLC, basically. And it's like, well, you don't have to... Yeah, I guess it. That's what they call it on a console. You're right, it's a patch, but, So they added something for free for an already great game.
So what's the game mode?
Gnome mode. I haven't actually played it yet, so I have no idea what it's like. But
it's probably just Captain Flag.
Probably, but with multiple gnomes, I reckon. It might be multi-flag or something. Gnome mode. I do wonder what Titanfall would be like if it could support a higher player count. Like,
do you think they'll change things?
Go out of 6. I don't think they will. I think it will stick to the 6-on-6, but
I think they'd have to,
because the performance on the Xbox starts to suffer when there's 12 Titans fucking about.
Right, yeah. But that makes it a bit sparse when you're on foot and stuff, and you just have to fill it out with those AI dudes.
That's probably why, yeah.
They might be able to do it if they just made the maps long and thin.
Yeah.
Because then, since you're just spawning auto-random anyway, you don't it's not like Battlefield where you choose a point.
No.
So it would just naturally spread everyone out over the length of the map.
It would be nice if it had that. Like point picking for hard point mode, especially.
Yeah, but then that'd make it too easy.
Maybe.
You just spawn, but you automatically spawn near whatever ones you have anyway. And if you only have one, you know you're going to spawn next to it.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, it's Titanfall.
Cool. Anyone been playing anything else?
I started playing Papers, Please.
Oh yeah?
Papers, Please.
I played a bit of that.
That's a weird bloody game. It's kind of cool. It definitely gives the sense of, I think, what they were going for, the sort of semi-monotony of it.
Yeah.
Like, because it does... I did think to myself after a few days of play, going, all right, maybe I need to stop playing this now. But then I sort of didn't. I ended up playing like 20 days in one go.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just sort of get on with it, and I'm not really sure why. Because it's not like, it's just an increasingly complex game of spot the difference at its heart.
Yeah, that's true. That's the gameplay, though. I mean, the context is quite interesting.
Yeah, like the stuff that's happening around with it, like, do you take a bribe to feed your family and stuff and keep them like not ill?
Keep them ill.
Keep them ill.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
There is a delicate balancing act there, and it's like I'm not fast enough to get by on just my salary, so it's
no.
You need all this other stuff and like the EZIC things, and then the interface is kind of on purpose awkward.
Yeah.
On top of that, just to drag items around all the time, and as a way of simulating it, until eventually you have to be checking more papers than your screen can handle.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all intentionally a clusterfuck. It's kind of interesting. I do like that dumb theme music.
Yeah.
Of course you would. It's basically the tuba theme. The fat guy walking theme.
Yeah.
I like the sound when you say, when you click the
next.
Yeah, next. Yeah, that is awesome.
It's like surprisingly little like media in that game, isn't there? Like,
yeah.
They perhaps could have done with a few more varied sound effects for like the talking and stuff, but rather than just blah 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 blah. Because they also have the same.
I wonder if I've still got those sound effects somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. I've got the disc for the Games Factory anyway, so I probably do.
I've still got most of the sample library somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how long it is, but I'm on like day 21. So I don't know how much further I've got to go till it ends. Like it's got like 16 endings or something.
Yeah, it has got a whole bunch of endings, yeah.
I'm not sure I would go back to it, though.
No.
Once I finished it, because it's like I've had one season of this interesting tedium. It's hard to classify, isn't it? It's interesting tedium, I guess.
Well, it depends whether you can even detect what you did differently. It's like, what were the choices that you actually made, and how can you switch that up?
Yeah, sometimes I fucked up. Like I wasn't paying enough attention to let two of the agents of EZIC through, for instance. I did the whole thing of like working out who I was supposed to let through, and then just didn't pay attention to what the names actually were. So I like denied them access.
always have trouble with the faces.
Yeah,
for some reason I don't spot that the actual photo is wrong.
Or the worst one for me is there's been a couple of times where it's like this person isn't male, and it's like he looked like a dude.
Yeah,
it's like to me that guy was a dude.
To me, that guy was a dude.
And then I've had one awkward moment where I've questioned that, and obviously you go through the scanner, and it's like, oh no, he's got a cock. Right, okay, let him through. It's a phrase you never thought you'd say. He's got a cock, let him through.
So yes.
Yeah, we did that. I don't know if I mentioned last time, but I finished Final Fantasy 13 too.
Yeah.
I mentioned that, did I? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, are you moving straight on to Lightning Returns?
No. Fuck it, I think I'm done.
Really? Wow.
It's like, it's annoying to say like 2/3 through this shitstorm, but that one just ended so badly.
Well, Lightning Returns is like set in the future, but everyone else is still alive for no reason, right? And
it's in a sort of timeless time, but yet there's a time limit.
There's a time limit on the timeless time. Oh no!
It's kind of nonsensical from the get-go.
No. Rather than starting off vaguely nonsensical and getting worse.
Yeah,
and worse.
This is just flat out dumb from the off.
Flat out dumb. The best kind of dumb. The flat out dumb.
The portable dumb. It's flat, you can fold it.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's portable.
It could just be a really large bit of flat card, like a giant comedy check, you mean? Or...
Yeah.
Like, this is quite dumb.
They're not very portable. And they're quite dumb. Yeah.
So whenever we think about a dumb game now, we have to imagine it as if it was a giant flat piece of card.
Well, I've been playing plenty of portable dumb.
Tell us about your portable dumb.
No, it's not actually that dumb. It's portable though. Although I managed to, for some reason, decide to do something portable dumb, and I wanted to play fucking Ecco the Dolphin, so I bought it.
Oh, one of the 3D remasters?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's totally not very 3D, but it's still Ecco the Dolphin, so that's good, I guess. But it's not the PC version.
No, the PC version was by far the best.
Yeah.
What makes that so much
the forgotten
better,
one?
Yeah. It had CD quality music.
Yeah, it had like
and slightly better graphics also.
What do they call it? Is it Red Book for like CD audio? Yeah, had that, and some of the visuals were actually slightly better.
Yeah.
I think.
And the sound effects were theoretically better, although actually I don't think they were.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like you could remember.
I watched you play enough of it.
I mean, like, the sonar noise I think was better on the PC, but I think the water splashing noise is worse on the PC.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, exactly. But yeah, so I played a fair bit of that. It's annoying, where it's like it's a nostalgia thing, obviously, because we played that game forever ago, and I actually got like basically almost through the whole game on the PC version.
Hmm.
I mean, I got to
never did.
I got to the last stage, and then it sucks because the last stage is like this retarded force-scrolling maze where you get crushed against the walls if you don't know which way to go.
Oh.
And that just sucks because it's just like you have to just keep doing it until you learn the route. But it's not just like learning the route; it's also learning the way the screen moves to trick you to not go the right route. Where it's like, oh, the screen's going to go this way. I'll go over here. Oh no, wait, the screen turned around, and then I got crushed.
God damn it!
Oh, you mean the screen changes direction? It's not just like a one-way run away.
The screen pans around over this maze.
Oh, that's
and tricks you by scrolling one way and then changing.
What's the justification for you getting crushed again? Is there something at the edge of the screen to crush you?
No, not really.
No. That's kind of cheap.
But yeah, so I haven't got to that point yet in this version. But yeah, I got some fair way through it. But there's still like, it's not as hard as as we thought it was at the time, obviously, because that's like, we were young. We were young and poopy.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess in the PC version you can save whenever you want, which is one thing, and you can still do that in this version. It's just not as convenient. Because the PC version is just like a drop-down menu, you just go save.
Well, here's the super... You could never save on the Mega Drive version.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I think you could get codes.
Well, yeah, it generates a code. Well, the weird thing is it makes a code at the start of the level, and then every time you die, it restarts the level, and it gives you a different code. And I'm like...
Yeah, as if dying means something.
Is it keeping a score somewhere?
Yeah.
Because there's no score or anything.
No, dying has no consequence.
No.
Apart from you having to perhaps replay quite a bit of that level.
Well, the whole level. Because he just starts you from the start again. But that's the other weird thing that I didn't really remember from the nostalgia of it, is like the levels are actually like super uncomplicated in a lot of cases, where there's just like there's a bunch of passengers and shit that just have no reason for you to ever go down the wall to exist at all, because they're not part of the level. It's basically just a trap where it's like if you go down here, you're just going to run into a bunch of enemies, and then it'll just be a dead end, and they just have to go out again. So once you actually know where you have to go, you just go there.
I think it's to try and they were trying at the time to make it seem like more natural, maybe.
I guess, maybe.
Like, because some of the larger areas, there were sort of quite a lot of divots and stuff where you think, oh, maybe this is what I need to be doing. No, this is unrelated.
And also, I think the other difference in this version that I've been playing is, I don't know, but the PC version had like an INI file or whatever where it has stored the options. And I'm not sure if we just never saw it or something, but there's options in there for extra enemies and the difficulty.
Oh, really?
Because difficulty and extra enemies were like different.
But presumably difficulty is how fast your air goes down.
Well, no, because that can't be a difficulty option, because the amount of air you have is based on the layout of the levels. Because it's a certain distance between air pockets.
Yeah,
so you couldn't really, maybe easy is just like gives you more, but it couldn't really give you less than a minimum amount.
Well, you could take more damage from being hurt.
Maybe, but it's like extra enemies. So I turned it on to like the hardest difficulty on the 3DS emulated version. And it does seem like there's a lot more enemies, I think. Although I also have a lot of problems where it's just like I get hit and then I just get stuck somehow. It's just like, I can't fucking move, and it's just going to keep hitting me for a while, which really sucks occasionally. But yeah. And then,
So what triggered this memory?
I don't know. It was on the store.
You just sort of saw it. I went, oh no, Echo.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Because I actually
it has a really dumb story.
It's super dumb. But I actually started playing that not that long ago as part of that Mega Drive collection that Kipper's got me on the Xbox a while back. So I sort of played through the start of it at least until I got the achievement.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need to do.
And then it was like, well, this is okay, but I was never totally into Echo. I think I'm always sort of more into the idea of Echo, because it's a crazy idea for a game in a way.
Yeah. Like
a dolphin-based undersea adventure with aliens. Spoiler alert.
That only happens right at the end.
Yeah. But it's just... I sort of had a moment thinking to myself just then, it's like, well, what else is on par with that level of crazy? Oh, wait, Octodad.
Not really, though. It's not even the same kind of game.
Well, that's not what I mean, but it's, yeah, you know what I mean? I guess there were, times then where, I don't know, perhaps game ideas were more out there than perhaps they seem now. It's another modern military shooter.
Spunkoggle wee wee.
Yeah.
As it's referred to.
And there's also the other... I don't know why. I wonder whether it was like a Nintendo thing or a Sega thing, but they put in Super Dolphin mode where you just don't take damage and your air never runs out.
Oh, well, that's presumably a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, it's like, would that have been Nintendo saying to make the easy mode?
No, that's probably Sega just getting on the bandwagon of what Nintendo been trying to do of late. Because doesn't that exist in Yoshi's Island as well? Isn't there if you die too much, you get these wings that basically means you can fucking fly?
Well, you get those as a power up anyway.
but it just gives it to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just how it done it in Mario recently. With the gold Tanuki suit or whatever.
I forget what it was called in Zelda. They gave it a name, didn't they? Like, for being able to just play the game for the story, essentially. Like, something book mode or guidebook mode, maybe.
Well, they did that in Mass Effect as well, didn't they? The stupid story mode
story
version.
Mode, yeah. Combat is trivial.
So yeah, I played that, but I mostly played quite a lot more of Bravely Default once I actually remembered.
You got past the hump.
Well, I got past sort of a different hump in a weird way. It was like, because I said about that where I got to the point in the story where it's like you're confronting the main dude and it's dumb. And then there was that side mission that comes up at that point, and that was the hump.
Right.
Where I was like, these enemies are way too powerful. And then I kind of had a revelation that I probably had already had like 2 or 3 times and just keep forgetting about Bravely Default. It's like, it's so much like Final Fantasy, you kind of don't realise that you shouldn't be playing it like Final Fantasy. Because it's like, I came to this castle and these enemies were just like too hard. And then I was like, oh, I can just cast Doom on them and then they just die. Because it's like Doom actually works, unlike every Final Fantasy game ever.
That is true. Like, the worst status effects, like death or something like that, just never work.
Yeah.
Unless someone casts it on you, and of course it works every time.
Well, naturally. But it's just like, so I and also, I mean, before I got to the point of using Doom, I also realised that you could just use Poison as well, because it was sort of, I guess I finished leveling up Black Mage, and once you get the last, like, support ability on Black Mage makes it so that magic that's normally single target is multi-target, like you can do with magic that's already multi-target. So you can already multi-target all the elemental attacks, like lightning or whatever. But then you get this support ability where it's like, now you can multi-target all the status effect attacks, like poison and sleep.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I can turn that on. But then that just gives you the really obvious combo, because there's like Black Mage, you can have poison, so now you can upgrade it to poison all, basically. And then there's another class that has a move which just does insane amounts of damage to anyone who's poisoned.
Oh, I see.
And that affects everyone on the field. So you just go poison all and explode you. So I did that for a while, and then I was like, oh no, wait, actually, now that I've upgraded it so that I can do multi-target, single-target magics, I can just do Doom all. And that hits everyone. And then just stand there for 4 turns.
Yeah, defend for a while.
Don't need to worry about how much health they have, just wait. So yeah, that was how I got through that. And the advantage of that was that once I worked that out and could kill these enemies at a higher level, they were also giving me a shit ton of experience compared to everything else I've been fighting up to that point.
Do you think that's how you're supposed to be doing this?
Maybe.
Does it feel like that's the way to progress?
I don't know, maybe.
Or have you just come up with a cheap tactic?
Possibly.
Surely somebody thought of that, though.
Well, you'd think so. But then I eventually got to the boss of that ridiculous castle. It was like 7 goddamn floors. It's like easily the longest dungeon of the game so far. So I was just dooming my way through all these shitty enemies to get to the boss.
Dooming your way.
And then when I got to the boss, he was a pain in the ass as well, of course. Mainly because he just has...
You couldn't doom him?
No, well, no, obviously, because he's a boss. It doesn't work every time.
You poison him?
I don't remember. I don't remember if I tried at that point. I think I'd moved on from poison. I was only Doom. But he has a big burst attack that just hits everyone, which sucks because that does like quite a lot of damage. But then he also has a secondary attack where basically it does as much damage as you've already lost in health. So basically, if you're less than 50% health, it just kills you.
You're dead. Oh, man. That's rough.
So that fucking sucked. It's like you have to be super healing everyone constantly to make sure no one gets below half health, or you're just dead. And he always uses it if someone's less than half health.
Right.
Like that's what triggers him to do it. So yeah, that kind of sucked. Ground my way through that fight eventually. Took way too long, and I very nearly screwed it up several times. Where it's like, basically, when it's like, if the healer goes down, it's like, oh fuck! And then I think there was one point where it was like only one person was still alive, but I think I only had one person still alive, but it was the one person on my team who has super high defense and who I was only using to do counters. which raises her defense even more. So it was basically, I was just like, I'm just going to defend for 3 turns because you've got so much defense, his actual attacks aren't going to kill you, and because your health points are still high enough, you're not going to get hit by the death attack, and that will give me enough brave points to just quickly res the healer and get an uber heal off for everyone. So there, got through that. That was lucky. But then right at the end of that, after you go through this side mission story, kill that boss, the story part of that side mission, because I said before about the actual story where you come up to the main boss guy and it's like, you should maybe talk about why you shouldn't be doing the thing that you're going to do that's clearly going to be a trap and is going to fuck everything up.
Yeah.
But then in this side story, when you get to this other boss, it's maybe even more explicit of you're about to fuck everything up. Where it's he's basically this ancient immortal dude. He's immortal for some sort of vaguely explained, not really reason. It's I lived for 2,000 years. And he's like, well, about 1,700 years ago in the past, a woman who looks exactly like one of the people in your party just appeared out of a portal in the sky and was muttering in her dying throes about how it was a trap. And I think maybe this may be foreshadowing what's about to happen to us just a little bit.
So one of your party is going to get sort of killed and thrown back in time to say, it's a trap.
Yeah, but then even more so than that, it was not only did this party member from the past say that it was a trap, it's they said it was a trap, and it was very obviously sort of pointing out that the goddamn fairy you've been following around the whole time is very obviously the trap, and is the bad guy.
Well,
and it's
I think we figured that out.
Well, yeah, I'd already figured that out for myself, but then in this bit, it's almost explicitly saying it, and it's why isn't everybody questioning this?
Why is nobody sort of turning to the fairy, just going,
Why is nobody putting 1 and 1 together? Not even 2 and 2. It's that simple.
1 and 1 equals window.
Yep. But yeah, so that was that was super obvious. But then, I went and did the thing that was inevitably going to fuck everything up, as you do, because it was well, apparently no one's going to question this at all in any kind of way, and put the really obvious facts together. And then, so you go and
they're committed at this point.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You light up the last crystal, and actually, surprisingly enough, I thought it was going to happen immediately, but it doesn't happen immediately when you light up the last crystal. There's one more step, where it's you have to fly into the giant pillar of light.
Oh, of course.
Naturally. But then just before that, that second in command guy that the main boss guy had sent off, he'd revealed the secret to this dude and sent him to defend the last possible position or whatever, which I thought was going to be the last crystal, but it was actually the pillar of light, of course. You fight him, and then you defeat him, and then his mask comes off, and it's oh no, he's the guy in your team who who has amnesia and can't remember where he came from.
Wait, what?
Because what happens is you fly to the pillar of light, and it's oh, we're sort of back in time now, and we've just started the whole game again. Except not quite, because things are slightly different.
Yeah.
And it's so that I kind of already figured out that was going to happen as well, because you have the journal which predicts the future, and it's it's really obvious that it's this Black Knight dude is the guy who wrote the journal, except for some reason your team didn't put that together either.
We really should have said spoiler alert at some point.
I guess, maybe. It's not that.
Maybe I should put that in the blurb for the cast, if I can remember by the time I post it.
It's not that new of a game, I guess.
Relatively.
I'm only 90 hours into it.
Only.
But then the thing is, I've done this. I did the thing that I thought was going to fuck everything up, but all it really did was reset everything. It's you've gone back in time, except you haven't, because you can remember what happened and things are different. And then you're I don't know. Is
that the impression that you're
yeah, I guess you sort of are, because you're well, we haven't gone back in time exactly. We've just sort of arrived in a different version of this universe where everything is back the way it was. So I guess we're going to have to go and light all the crystals again. Because apparently that's still the only plan we have. Even though what has just happened is we lit the crystals and we came through this portal. We ended up back where we started. But maybe we should do that again, because that totally makes perfect sense.
Great. So where does this leave you? Having to do all the dungeons again?
Sort of. It's you just... Because the airship comes through the portal with you, so you have that from the start, so you can just fly around, so you don't actually have to play the whole fucking game again. And you can just mainline to each of the temples and light the crystals up.
Sure.
And defeat the bosses on each of the crystals again. But then, like, all of the sub-quest bosses also you can go and defeat again for, like, basically for story and experience points, I suppose.
It's a way of trying to piece together what's different.
Yeah. So you can be like, oh, it was only 2 of us that fought these guys before, and now it's all 4 of us, so that's different. And it's like, this guy seems to react differently to us, or this guy seems more pissed off for some reason, or scared of us for some reason. But the weird thing about it is that, like, several of these secondary bosses seem to suggest that, like, you already have fought them before in this world. It's like,
so you
already also exist.
So you haven't gone back in time, really?
Yeah, but it's just like, how is that going to make any sense? Because it's like, if you imagine the timescale of it, like, your shitty team is just trying to get to the first temple, and you're just flying there. It's like, well, how is that going to work? So yeah, I guess I'll go through this all again. The kind of sucky thing for me is that...
So you've sort of killed yourself, or one of your team members has
maybe
sort of killed yourself?
It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of hard to tell where the Amnesia team member fits into this.
All right.
In his looping storyline.
Hey, at least at this point, it still has the potential to be better than Final Fantasy 13 too.
Yep.
Story-wise.
Yeah. So I guess my problem at the moment is, like, when you go to this new version of the world, for some reason shops just mysteriously gain some more items that you can buy, I guess, because you need to have some more equipment, I suppose, to keep leveling up. But I don't have any money, and I'm not making any money because I'm not really fighting anything. It's like, it's weird because they're clearly higher level enemies, because obviously they had to make them higher level
for progression,
but they don't give you shit all. So it's like, I can't even buy this thing that costs 20,000 because I've spent all my money. So I'm just going to have to... I think maybe what I'll do is just bypass everything, go back to that castle where I was doing everything and go and grind up there, because those give you tons of experience points and money.
If the new version still gives you stuff.
I'm pretty sure it does, because basically everything's exactly the same.
Oh, right. So they were getting you the shit money that you were getting at the start of the game without the, like, progression inflation.
Well, not really. It's like, it's better money and experience, but not as good as those things that I'd just previously been fighting.
Right. Not as good as the Doom creatures.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of weird. And, like, I guess I kind of spoiled myself in some ways that I'm pretty sure you do this whole process like 2 or 3 more times, which is like, Jesus, really?
Oh, this may be the thing that reviewers was talking about.
Yeah.
I'd heard, they did say that there was some problem, like, with the pacing of the game, like, towards the end.
I mean, supposedly I sort of read that I mean, it is different each time, but it's more like in the layout of, like, instead of just fighting the bosses the same way you fought them before, maybe there'll be those guys and one of the other bosses, so it's like 3 of them at once.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it actually does make it more difficult and different in some way. But it's really just like you're playing the whole thing again.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like a challenge mode rather than an actual progression of the game.
But then I also saw suggestions that, like, there's meant to be multiple endings. And I'm like, is there just a way to bypass this multiple, like, loop thing?
Oh, I see.
Could you break out of the first loop or something?
And get a different
series but if you can, it's not obvious. So I guess I'll keep playing it.
Don't light the towers? Grind forever?
I'm not sure that would work very well.
Go find the other team?
I'm actually still missing 1 job, so I at least want to go through it as many times as it takes to get that last job, I suppose. Because I may as well try and be completionist on the first run. There's fucking New Game Plus in this game as well. Not even sure what that does.
Start with the same team, super hard enemies.
That's what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
That's basically the story of the game.
Oh dear.
Rogue Legacy.
So yeah, I did that. And then I guess there was some Guild Wars.
Do you ever play any more Rogue Legacy, Dan?
Yeah, I did. Played a bunch more of that.
Then?
I didn't finish it, but I got through different areas and stuff. I remember what I did do this week. I didn't play, but I watched quite a bit of Demon Souls, or Dark Souls 2, sorry, that's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw quite a bit of that. It was kind of backseat gaming with Ho. Go like, maybe try and do it that way because we're getting killed over and over again.
I don't know, swing your sword or some shit.
Yeah. So I saw quite a bit of that. So that was quite fun. It looks like fun, to be honest. Like I could see myself getting into it, although it doesn't look that good. But
no, I don't like the look and the claustrophobia of its style. And
well, it was kind of a nice outside area that we were like. There are some big epic like landscapes in there and stuff. It's not all like you're stuck in corridors or anything. In fact, but you don't see the sun very often. It's true. Praise the sun when you do. That is true. Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that game would just wind me up no end. I really don't think I'm the type for it.
Well, if we ever get through the whole of Final Fantasy VII, maybe we'll play that.
Yeah, maybe that should be the next one.
I'll play it and you can watch.
I think you might like it, actually, Rob. Having watched
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think maybe
I've seen some stuff about I haven't really watched any Dark Souls 2 stuff because I saw Demon Souls and the first Dark Souls and just didn't seem that enamored with it. In the same way that I've never been, because it is kind of like Monster Hunter in some ways.
Right.
It's like, and that never really appealed either, how the mechanics of that work. It's interesting, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't appeal to me.
Fair enough, yeah.
Maybe wrong. Stranger things have happened.
You do bash your head against things until you get through them, though. Like, and that is quite satisfying. And that's what the whole game is, really. Just keep trying until you make it work. But the bit we were working on was clearly some kind of puzzle, but it was quite confusing how to make it actually work.
Yeah,
so
there's quite a few supposed like puzzle bosses in the game as well, where there's like if you're super strong, you can take it down by traditional means, but there's normally a quicker, much faster way of doing it. Yeah,
there's a way of doing it, and that's the thing of figuring out. Not only figuring out, but also how do you pull it off or whatever. But yeah, it seemed cool. And the combat is it's really interesting combat because, like, just as Ho was saying, it's like you never, no matter how, much you play it or whatever, even the weakest enemies are still a threat, and you still have to care about every single fight because if you get hit, you take quite a bit of damage. Even from and a lot of the powerful enemies, they'll usually be one hit kill against you. But it seems to be some depth to the combat, at least, of dodging and swinging.
I imagine there is with the whole stamina system.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get obviously stunned or whatever if because you can defend, but it seems like you
defend against something too big, you get knocked, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it seems like it would be better to avoid getting hit rather than if you were more nimble, it would probably be better than, and have managed to dodge stuff, it would be better than like defending with a shield. But I don't know.
That's what they were trying to tell Vinny this week, wasn't it? That you may get yourself in trouble if you go down that line too much.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff, and I guess it's coming out on PC, so that might be.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll cock up the port again.
They said they weren't going to this time.
Well, good for them.
By the way, guys, we're not going to shit this out.
At least it won't be games for Windows. So that's a plus point immediately.
Because games for Windows is shut down.
Did you when you said you played Dirt 3, did you play that after the games for Windows sort of ceased? Like, have they done anything to sort of patch it out of Dirt 3? Because I think they said
not yet because it signed me in, I believe.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it all shut down by now.
Well, maybe not. Because it definitely did.
Yeah, I've been thinking to myself. Yeah, I've been thinking to myself, like, maybe I should just go back into that, like, try and get a little bit further through it, get the wheel out again.
Yeah. When's there going to be another Dirt game? We do one?
We haven't heard anything from Codemasters Racing for a while. Well, not that there is any other team at Codemasters anymore. It's all racing now.
Yeah, well, they make loads of those F1 games, but there must be somebody doing some Dirt stuff.
Yeah, don't know. We haven't heard from them for a while. I guess Grid 2 is the last thing we heard from them about last year.
So we played
We played the end of the Guild Wars
The end of the Guild
story.
Wars story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was only really interesting for the ludicrous amount of loot you get.
Yeah.
It's like the actual story of it was like, well, there's another dragon. I mean, obviously. Because that's the fucking story of the Guild Wars universe. Or the Guild Wars 2 universe, I guess.
Dragons.
But yeah, so we got through that. And that was okay.
When we say the story, the Living World story, not the actual.
We still haven't finished the actual story of Guild Wars 2.
Well,
because we keep getting distracted by all this other shit.
Yeah. The interesting stuff that's happening in the world. Like, why is Lion's Arch so fucked up right now?
Because it got seriously fucked up. Apparently it's not going to get unfucked for at least the next update.
I'd imagine it would take a while.
Oh yeah,
obviously. If they're going to stay true to the world, then...
But like, the interesting thing to me now is the next update is they're calling it the April update, which I guess is still on schedule for the next 2 weeks, I guess. Ish. I'm not sure whether they're going to make it a 3-week gap. But this next update for April is just going to be basically like a bunch of patches. It's not going to be content, really. It's going to be like special... That's the dinging that tells us we're out of time.
The dinging sound.
But it's basically going to be a lot of like improvements to UI and all that kind of stuff. Just what they call quality of life, of course, and like some actual additions like new traits and that sort of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Which actually sounds kind of like nice. But then some of the changes they're making seem kind of weird to me as well. Or one of the changes they're doing is, you know how you pick your traits where it's like you add points and it unlocks the trait lines?
Yep.
And you have like 70 points to put into however many trees you want. One of the changes they're making is like, it's one of those things where it's just like, why wasn't it like this always? Why wasn't it always like this? Or why did you think this other way you were doing it was a good idea? Because when you unlock the traits on the trait lines, you unlock a trait every 5 skill points you put in.
Yep.
And each skill point gives you a bonus to a stat. But there's no reason you wouldn't do it in groups of 5. So now they're just getting rid of that and making it 1 stat point per trait for each of the stages. So one point is now equivalent to 5.
So there's 5 times less trait points.
So it's just like, why did you think that was a good idea in the first place, really?
I can sort of see the logic there. I guess because like if you had 1 trait point, then you get
add it immediately.
You get an immediate slight benefit from it. Yeah. As opposed to having to bank 5.
But it's not like the progression in Guild Wars actually takes that long. That's the real. It's like getting to 80 isn't actually that difficult.
No, it's not as long as other MMOs, not by a long shot.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird.
Especially with like some of the shortcuts that now exist.
Yeah. But the other thing that caught my eye in the update is one of the new I guess that's a new trait for the engineer, which is the class that I play mainly in your class.
My class, yeah.
One of the traits, it's not as cool as it looked from the picture, but it's basically a challenge dome.
Awesome.
It's like when you place a sentry, you get a bubble shield.
Challenge dome.
But it's not actually that useful, apparently. It's just like it only lasts 4 seconds and it reflects projectiles.
Okay.
But only when you place the turret. So it's like, depends what trait line that goes into, I guess, as to whether that's actually worthwhile. But it just looks exactly like a bubble shield.
What, with the hex and everything?
Well, yeah, sort of hex. It's got a pattern to it. I'm just like, challenge dome.
It'd be amazing if that's what you shouted when you put it down. Challenge dome! And then someone else shouts, challenge accepted!
But it only lasts 4 seconds, so it's not actually long enough to do the challenge dome thing of running into it.
Damn it. That was so good in Halo.
I think we was wondering, right, if this Halo 2 Anniversary Edition rumour was true, like, to what extent would they try and bring back Halo 2's multiplayer? Because we all know that to be, like, the best thing ever.
Indeed.
Would this revive enough players to...
You never know.
Let me play some Halo 2 multiplayer again.
That'd be pretty good.
I don't think it would. They'll just put levels into the Halo 3 engine like they did with Halo 1, basically.
Well, it depends what the Anniversary Edition's coming out on. Like, I'm excited to think, what if it came out on Xbone?
Well, it probably will.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a different engine. They'll probably just lazily port out the old engine because it can just run.
Probably use at least the Halo 4 engine, but yeah, and then they'd be saving whatever they're working on for 5. But
yeah.
Even so, it could mean for some pretty Halo 2-isms.
But we all know Halo 2 is the annoying one.
Halo 2 is great for multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I meant the campaign.
Oh yeah, the campaign's not so hot. Yeah.
Although it might be nice to actually be able to see what the fuck's going on in some of these cases. Like, what is the Grapevine actually meant to look like? Rather than just this horrible mess.
Well, you sort of see him in Halo 3, in fairness.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Although he's in the dark a lot in that one.
In Halo 2, you only really see his tentacles, don't you?
No, because he grabs you underwater and he talks to you right to the face.
Right to the face. That's true.
So, yeah.
We still haven't gone back and played the first anniversary edition. I've had that sat on my shelf for a while. I do want to see what they've done to it, like, how good the Reach engine.
But as we kept saying, every time we bring this up, we played Halo 1 too soon before that happened.
Yeah. We didn't know it was coming.
It's like, if there's any Halo game that we're due to replay, it is Halo 2.
Technically, yes, yeah.
But
Halo 2 is next on our list, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
We'll just wait for the anniversary edition of that.
It's more bearable in co-op.
Well, naturally.
It's like it wasn't terrible, it just wasn't as good. It wasn't as impressive. They did some interesting things thematically in Halo 2. Like, I've always liked the fact that the sort of breakdown of some of the Covenant politics, like how the elites were thrown out and stuff, is kind of not explicit, is it? It's subtly done. Like, I've always loved that about that game, but it's...
Well, shit. I've remembered something else that I need to talk about, which is a shame because it's the end of the podcast, so I'll just cram it in for as long as it takes.
Yeah, crap it out. Man.
Okay. Crap it out.
The offline patch for SimCity.
Oh yeah, holy crap!
It finally arrived.
Oh my god, yeah, this is... Did you see the launch trailer for it that they put out? The silly little... Well, not really a trailer, but the little video.
Like the descriptive video.
Oh my god. It's like the
it doesn't tell you anything
but it's just the way that they sort of make it sound like it's the best thing ever. And it's like, yes, we all knew it was the best thing ever. Why did you go down this stupid route of like... It's like, I can save my game and then blow up my city and come back to it.
Yeah. It's like, actually load a save.
Holy shit, this is like 1990s technology.
But yeah, the trouble was, I read the blog post about it, and then I was like, does that mean... I was like, what does that mean for trading resources between cities or whatever?
They have supposedly thought of that.
Well, they say they've supposedly thought of that, but nowhere in any of the blog posts or forum posts or any information or that video does it actually tell you anything about that.
Yeah.
It's like there's no actual information about how it works. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just have to go and play it. And the answer is they haven't actually changed anything at all, really.
But does it work?
Well, it doesn't look any different to me because it worked fine when I was playing it online.
Right, fair enough.
Supposedly, some people have been saying that it does actually run better, maybe, for some reason. Like, the actual game runs better.
Weird.
And I'm not sure how it manages, like, how it updates the things that happen in the region, like whether that happens faster or something. I haven't really got to the point, again, this is the problem, because this time I'm actually having to start over, because you can't just reload an old setup.
No, it's a completely segregated mode.
Yeah.
You have to switch to it by tab.
Yeah.
On the
so I haven't really got to the point where I'm actually trading resources, but it doesn't look like anything's different, which kind of sucks. Because the main problem with, like, when you're playing by yourself is, like, say you have a mining city and you're making metal, and then you want to send that metal to another city to turn it into whatever the fuck you turn metal into. Processors or something. I don't remember. But then it's like, so how do you have to do that? You have to build a trade depot in the first city, which takes the metal, and then you have to gift it to the other city in a bulk. And then they have to have empty trade depots with space to accept the gift when you switch to that city. It's just like, that is the least effective system for trading shit between cities. And also the amount of trade depots...
So you can't set up like an automated process.
You can't have it like trickle through automatically. And also the amount of trade depot space you'd need to do that in any reasonable amount would take up like fucking half your city with trade depots.
And you have to switch to the other city in order to simulate the process of...
Yeah, I'm not sure how the actual transfer, how it stores the like transfer state. Like when you, because presumably when you in the first city when you tell it to send the gift, supposedly like trucks come in and pick the stuff out, and then it takes it out of your city, and then presumably then it's just like stored in like a suspended state in the region's data, and then when you load the other city, it will receive the gift. But then, like, what if the other city doesn't have space or something?
Yeah,
don't know. I've never actually done that, even in multiplayer. Mainly because I knew that was just going to be a big hassle. So I always try and build cities that built the whole thing in one city, and then send it to the mega project I was building or whatever.
Right. Yeah. That is probably what they intended, in fairness.
Yeah, but you can't really make a city that does, like, particularly for like the TVs, which is like one of the things you need to make for the archaeology. That's like a free set process, because you've got to mine coal and ore, so you can combine that into alloy, and then you've got to take the alloy and put that in the processor factory to turn it into processors, and then take the processors and turn those into TVs. And it's just like, there's no way you're going to be able to do that reasonably in one city. Mainly because you can fit all those buildings in there, but then you won't have enough population for the jobs that will create.
It's all part of the social design, man.
Yeah. Except even in the multiplayer version, you still have to do it by that shitty gifting system. Why can it not just be automatic?
Yeah.
Because the cities don't run simultaneously is the answer to that.
Yeah. But that would be the solution, wasn't it? To, like, if you're not in a city, that it sort of outputs and can sort of process to the region at the same rate as whatever it was at the time you left it.
I mean, they could try and do it that way, but that would be exploitable is the problem, because it's just saved a state of that city. It's like, at the moment, the way like trading water and power works, it's like it saves how much excess power that city had, and then you can just use all of that. But it doesn't, there's no accounting for what happens when you go back to that city, because you can basically just turn off that deal, go back to that city, and then you still have all that power, effectively, or whatever. So I think the way they could have done it for like the resources is make it so that if you have a trade depot that has a store of resources, like when you leave that city, you can just pull from the other city as much as you want. Just like you can say, I need like 500 of this, and then it just drags it out, and then when you go back to that city, it updates.
So what you're trying to say is they shouldn't have separate cities.
Well,
they should just be 5 areas combined to make one big one.
That would be the much easier solution, just have one big city. So yeah, offline mode hasn't really changed anything.
No.
I was doing my classic.
And it's 1 year after launch?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yep.
I was running my classic test of like seeing whether the high school students' situation is fixed.
And how are they doing with the high school students?
It looks okay so far.
We're not losing kids anymore.
Although I did very specifically made my second city not have any schools in it, which I think helps. It's like if there's no competition, if the students aren't trying to go to another school that's in your city and also travelling to the other city.
I reckon they burn the children to power the server techs. It's like what they're doing is, in this weird world of SimCity, like they have to burn children in order to power socialness.
It's offline though.
That's why it works.
Yeah, but it won't work like that. So yeah. That's still SimCity.
Yeah, SimCity is still SimCity, which is sad.
Lame. Bigger cities, goddammit, and I don't know.
Maybe it will get modded
save
in.
it.
That's the classic thing.
Do you think?
Now that they've made offline mode, it's like, now the mods.
The mods will come.
Although I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah. Have they already lost the...
You never
know. I don't know. So there must be a couple of people out there that are willing to try something.
Maybe.
But it's to what
in fact,
level?
in like the blog post about the coming mods, they highlighted a mod that already exists that was basically just a UI thing, because the UI is just JavaScript, so you can actually edit that relatively easily. And like, it just put on the UI query for like a house, it just showed you how many how many workers and students were in that house. It's like,
so the tiniest mod to like add something that's already there?
No, it's like it wasn't there. It's like that should be information that you can see.
But you can surely surface it really easily if it's just all available and it's just JavaScript.
It's just because, like, I guess the way you can see that information is if you just use the population overlay, but that's not what the query window is much more useful. Only not really, because the whole way the population system works is just dumb for a start. So those numbers don't actually help you. It's like, oh, there's no workers in this house at the moment because they're probably at a job, or maybe they've just disappeared somehow.
Oh, I see. It doesn't show you residency.
No, because obviously there's no residency.
No.
The guys will go to any house.
It's so depressing. When I hear things like that, I'm just like, come on. So, this is a really fucked up society, isn't it? Because it's like any day you could go home to any house, sleep with any wife.
Well, the trick
help with the homework of any child.
But the trick to it is that, like, the house you go to is always the first one you get to that's got free space. So if you wanted to try and get to a really nice house, you'd have to time your exit from work to be like, I'm going to be the 30th person to drive down this road, and then I'll get into that nice house.
It takes a special kind of discipline to do that, isn't it? So everyone doesn't just park up outside the hot wife. Fucking hell. SimCity.
That's the end of that.
Man.
That's the end of that.
That's the end of the Saladcast for this week.
Get some foods.
Indeed. Are you going to get
pizzed?
Yep.
All right.
Fair enough.
I'm still not actually hungry. What? I know.
It's 10 to 10, dude.
It's 10 to 10. I actually should be leaving right now. I need to get food in first.
Okay, I'll leave you guys to do that. So thanks for joining us, listeners. Catch you for the next Saladcast. Have a good one.
We should have said, this is season 5 and shit.
Well, check out the awesome, that I haven't even heard yet, outtakes of season 4.
Season
3. Sorry. Season 3 outtakes. And we'll also have a new, do we have a new jingle?
Maybe.
We have a new jingle.
I need to put the finishing touches on it. But
you may have already heard it again. Yeah. We did this last year.
So you probably know more than I whether it's season 5 because you heard it at the start of this podcast.
Yeah, theme tune change.
And maybe we'll have a little sting at the end as well. So bye.
No, I now you'll hear the sting.
Oh, now you'll hear the little sting. Which doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. We're probably not going to have like vocoded Saladcast for a year.
Oh, that was so cool. The end.